What if the life you are currently living, the reality you perceive as solid and unchangeable, is merely a broadcast? A single frequency you have been tuned into for so long, you have forgotten that you hold the dial. You have become accustomed to the static, the low hum of anxiety, the faint, persistent signal of not enough that plays beneath every waking moment. It has become the soundtrack to your days, the white noise of your nights. This is not a judgment, it is a simple observation. For many of us, this has become the default setting of existence, a quiet desperation, a silent striving, a feeling of running on a treadmill where the scenery never changes, no matter how fast your legs move. You do all the things you are told you are supposed to do. You work, you strive, you plan, you acquire. Yet, an unseen weight remains, a subtle hollowness that no achievement seems to fill, a poverty not just of the bank account, but of the spirit, a scarcity of peace, of time, of genuine, unburdened joy. You look at your life, and you know, with a certainty that chills you, that this cannot be all there is, and you are right. So for the next few moments, let us change the atmosphere. There is nothing you need to do, nothing to fix, nothing to solve. Simply allow these words to be a space for you to inhabit, an invitation to step out of the noise, step out of the relentless current of thought and obligation. Let the world outside continue its frantic pace. Here, in this shared stillness, you are being asked only to listen, not with your ears, but with the deepest part of you. The part that recognizes truth not as a concept, but as a resonance, a feeling of coming home. This is not another set of rules to follow, another system for success to be implemented. It is an exploration, a dialogue with the energy that animates you. We are about to enter a quiet space, a sanctuary within, where we can finally begin to hear the silence beneath the static. It is in this silence that your true frequency resides. It is from this silence that a new reality can be broadcast. So breathe, let go of the day, and simply be present. The journey to reclaim the dial begins now. From the stillness we have just entered, listen closely. What is the first sound that rushes in to fill the silence? It is likely not a sound from the outside world. It is the hum of your own mind. And for so many of us, that hum has a specific frequency, a familiar, foundational tone. It is the sound of lack. Before we can ever hope to tune our lives to the frequency of abundance, we must first become intimately familiar with the broadcast we are currently trapped in. We must explore the room we have been living in, the one whose walls have become so familiar we no longer see them. This room is the echo chamber of lack. It is a space built not of brick and mortar, but of belief and memory. Its foundation was laid in childhood, with phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," or "We can't afford that." Its walls were constructed from past failures, each one a brick solidifying the belief that success is for other people. Its roof was sealed by the quiet disappointments, the moments your hopes were dashed, reinforcing the idea that it's safer not to want too much. Inside this chamber, every thought of scarcity, every fear of not having enough, is not just a passing cloud, it is a sound. And this sound, once uttered by the conscious mind, does not simply fade away. It hits a wall, and it bounces back. It hits another wall, and it bounces back again, slightly changed, perhaps a little louder, a little more convincing. The thought, "I don't have enough money this month," reverberates, and returns as a feeling in the pit of your stomach. That feeling reverberates, and returns as a subtle tension in your shoulders. That tension reverberates and returns as a decision to say no to an opportunity because it feels too risky. This is the echo. Over years, these echoes layer upon one another, creating a constant, resonant hum, a frequency. This frequency becomes your baseline reality. It is the background noise of your life, the invisible force that colors every perception, every decision, every action. This chamber is the source of the profound internal conflict you feel. Your conscious mind, the part of you listening to these words right now, holds a desire. It is a pure, clear, vibrant signal. I want to be free. I want to create. I want to experience a life of ease and abundance. You send this beautiful signal out into the chamber. But what happens? It strikes the walls, the old, dense walls of doubt and fear. The echo that comes back is not your pure desire. It is a distorted version. The desire, I want to be free, comes back as the echo. Who are you to be free? Look at all your responsibilities, your past mistakes. The desire, I want to create something beautiful, returns as the echo. You're not talented enough. Others are so much better. Why even bother trying? This is the war being waged within you. It is the bright, soaring ambition of your spirit against the heavy, gravitational pull of your conditioning. This is why you feel stuck. It is why you can read all the books, listen to all the podcasts, and set all the intentions, only to find yourself, weeks or months later, in the exact same place. You are trying to sing a new song in a room that is acoustically designed to amplify an old, sad melody. You feel the exhaustion of this inner battle. It manifests as procrastination, that sudden, inexplicable urge to do anything other than the one thing you know will move you forward. That is the echo of past failure, making the risk of a new failure feel unbearable. It manifests as self-sabotage, the strange impulse to push away a great opportunity or a wonderful person right when they come close. That is the echo of unworthiness, whispering that you don't deserve it anyway, so it's better to end it on your own terms. It is the source of the chronic anxiety that hums just below the surface, the feeling that even when things are going well, disaster is just around the corner. That is the echo of a lifetime spent waiting for the other shoe to drop. You are not broken, or lazy, or weak. You are simply living inside a powerful, invisible structure of your own making. Here, now, is the ray of light that pierces through the walls of this chamber. The way out is not through fighting. To fight the echoes is to create more noise, to give them more energy to reverberate. To scream affirmations over the top of the hum is a battle you will eventually lose, because the hum is automated, and your shouting requires constant, exhausting effort. The path to freedom is not through force. It is through awareness. It is to become the silent observer of the chamber itself. You must realize, with profound clarity, that you are not the echoes. You are the one who hears the echoes. This shift in identity is the single most powerful move you can ever make. The moment you can witness a thought of lack without becoming that thought, you have stepped outside of the chamber's immediate influence. You have created a space. You cannot build a new reality using the blueprints of the old. You cannot paint a masterpiece on a canvas already covered in gray. First, you must simply see the gray. You must recognize the sound, the shape, the feel of your own inner cage. The simple, non-judgmental act of observation is the light that begins to dissolve the walls. So, this is your first practice. It is a practice of quiet illumination. For the next week, I invite you to dedicate just 5 minutes each day to this. Find a time when you will not be disturbed. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and do nothing. Your only task is to listen. Listen to the automatic chatter of your mind, especially the thoughts concerning money, worth, and limitation. Your goal is not to stop them, not to challenge them, not to change them. Your goal is simply to notice them, as if you were a scientist observing a phenomenon with gentle curiosity. When the thought, "I'll never get out of debt," arises, you do not engage with it. You simply label it, gently, in your mind. There is the never get out of debt thought. When a feeling of anxiety about an upcoming bill tightens your chest, you simply notice. There is the feeling of anxiety. You watch it as you would watch a cloud drift across the sky. You acknowledge its presence and you let it be. Do not judge yourself for having these thoughts. They are not you. They are old, recorded weather patterns playing out in the atmosphere of your mind. By practicing this silent observation, you are doing something revolutionary. You are ceasing to be the prisoner in the chamber. You are becoming the guard who holds the key. You are no longer lost in the noise. You are the stillness that perceives the noise. This is the first, most crucial step. Before you can change your frequency, you must first learn to hear it, clearly and without judgment. Welcome to the Great Listening. Having listened to the old, static-filled broadcast of lack, the next step is not to argue with it. It is to consciously, deliberately change the station. But to do that, you must first know which frequency you are searching for. You must have a clear sense of the music you wish to hear. For too long, we have been told there is only one station worth listening to, the station of monetary wealth. We have been conditioned to believe that this is the ultimate prize, the final destination. Now, we must dismantle this illusion. We must redefine the very nature of the wealth we seek. Imagine that true wealth is a great, powerful river. It is a vast, unending flow of pure, creative life energy. This river is comprised of everything that makes a life truly rich. It is the current of vitality that makes you feel alive and vibrant in your body. It is the tributary of creativity that brings forth new ideas and inspirations. It is the deep, clear pool of peace that allows for profound rest and rejuvenation. It is the nourishing flow of love and connection that makes you feel seen and valued. This great river is the source of all abundance. Now imagine money. Money is not the river. Money is simply one form of water that can be drawn from it. It is a cupful, a bucketful, that we can use for exchange in the physical world. For our entire lives, we have been taught to ignore the river and chase the bucket. We have been taught that the goal is to accumulate as many buckets of water as possible, and we have become obsessed with the counting and guarding of these buckets. This fundamental misunderstanding is the source of so much of our quiet suffering. In our desperate chase for the bucket, we give away the very things that constitute the river. We trade our vitality, working ourselves into exhaustion. We sacrifice our peace of mind, living in a state of constant, low-grade anxiety about market fluctuations and financial security. We dam up our creativity, choosing the safe path over the one that truly calls to our soul because it promises a more predictable bucket. We neglect the currents of love and connection, too busy or too stressed to be truly present with those we care about. We end up with a collection of buckets, some full, some empty, but we stand dehydrated on the banks of the very river that could have nourished us completely. We become financially rich, but spiritually, energetically bankrupt. The number in the bank account goes up, but the feeling of aliveness goes down. This is the great modern paradox, the pursuit of the symbol of wealth at the expense of the substance of wealth. This creates a painful internal conflict. There is a part of your soul, a deep, ancient wisdom within you that knows the truth. It craves the river. It longs to feel the full current of life flowing through you. It whispers to you in quiet moments, reminding you of the joy of creating for its own sake, the richness of a shared laugh, the opulence of a moment of pure, uninterrupted peace. It begs you to rest, to play, to connect, to simply be. But then the conditioned mind, the guardian of the echo chamber, screams in terror. It tells you that focusing on these things is frivolous, irresponsible, dangerous. You can rest after you've made your fortune, it insists. You can pursue your passion once you are financially secure. First comes the hard work, the sacrifice, the struggle. Then, maybe, you can have joy. And so you live in a state of perpetual deferment. You treat peace, joy, and vitality as rewards to be earned, rather than the very source of the energy required to create a truly abundant life. You are trying to drive a car to a beautiful destination, but you are refusing to put fuel in the tank until you arrive. It is an impossible journey. Here is the truth that will set you free. The universe does not operate on a monetary currency. It operates on an energetic currency. The most valuable asset you possess is not your money, it is your life force, your vitality, your vibrational state. Your primary work in this life is not to accumulate dollars, but to accumulate, cultivate, and circulate a high frequency of life energy. You must become an energy millionaire first. What does this mean? It means your focus must shift from the external scorecard of your finances to the internal state of your being. True wealth is a feeling. It is the feeling of waking up in the morning with energy and enthusiasm for the day ahead. It is the feeling of being so absorbed in a creative task that time itself seems to disappear. It is the feeling of warmth and expansion in your chest when you connect genuinely with another human being. It is the profound sense of stability and calm that comes from a quiet mind. These are not just pleasant emotions, they are high-frequency energetic states. They are deposits in your true bank account. When you are in these states, you are wealthy. And from that state of being, you become a vibrational match for all the outer forms of wealth, including money. The river does not chase the bucket. The bucket is simply filled when it is brought to the river. So, let us begin a new practice. It is a simple but radical shift in your daily orientation. When you wake up each morning, instead of letting your first thought be a panicked inventory of all the things you have to do to get by, I invite you to ask a new set of questions. Instead of, how can I make more money? Ask, how can I feel more alive today? Instead of, how can I get more? Ask, what can I do to cultivate more peace in my being? Instead of, what do I need to achieve? Ask, how can I connect more deeply with my own creative energy today? The answers may be surprisingly simple. It might be taking 10 minutes to sit in the sun with your morning coffee without your phone. It might be putting on a piece of music that makes your soul soar. It might be taking a walk in nature, or spending 5 minutes sketching in a notebook, or sending a message of genuine appreciation to a friend. Do not mistake these actions as frivolous luxuries. They are not. They are the most important work you will do all day. They are conscious deposits of high-frequency energy into your being. They are you choosing to tend to the river instead of obsessing over the bucket. When you do this, you begin to fill your own inner reservoir with the very substance of wealth. You stop being a dehydrated soul chasing droplets, and you become a deep, calm lake. And the law of the universe is that all things are drawn to that which is full and vibrant. Opportunities, ideas, people, and yes, money are all drawn to the person who is radiating a frequency of energetic abundance. Stop chasing wealth, become it. Tend to your energy, and your reality will have no choice but to follow. We have spoken of wealth as a great river of energy, a force of vitality and creation that is our natural birthright. And yet, for so many, this river feels like a distant rumor, a mere trickle that barely sustains us. We stand on its dry banks, wondering why the promised abundance never arrives. It is not because the river has dried up. The river is eternal, its flow ceaseless. The problem is that long ago, in the unseen landscapes of our own minds, dams were built, heavy, dense structures of belief, assembled piece by piece, that obstruct the flow. To restore the current, we must become archaeologists of our own souls. We must be willing to dig into the bedrock of our conditioning and expose the ancient, gnarled roots of scarcity that have been drawing their nourishment from our life force for far too long. These roots run deeper than you might imagine. They are not your thoughts. They are the soil in which your thoughts grow. They are the invisible contracts you signed with reality, without ever reading the terms and conditions. The first clauses were written in your childhood. They were spoken in casual, offhand remarks from parents, teachers, and the culture around you. Yet they landed in the fertile ground of your young mind and were accepted as law. A parent, stressed about bills, sighs and says, "Money is the root of all evil." For them, it was a fleeting expression of frustration. For you, it became a subconscious command. To be good, you must avoid money. A teacher, wanting to instill a good work ethic, says, you have to work your fingers to the bone for every penny. For them, it was a motivational phrase. For you, it became a sacred vow. Wealth cannot come with ease. It must be paid for with suffering. The world showed you stories of greedy, unhappy rich people, and you signed an invisible clause stating, to be happy and loved, I must remain humble and poor. These were the first dams, the first stones laid across the river. Then came your own experiences. The roots grew thicker and stronger with every piece of evidence you gathered. Perhaps you started a business with passion and hope, only to see it fail. That failure was not just an event, it became a core belief. A contract was signed in the ink of your tears. I am not capable of success. My dreams lead to pain. Perhaps you took a financial risk and lost money. That loss was not just a lesson, it was a branding. You signed a new clause. Money is dangerous and untrustworthy. It is safer to have less of it, because then I have less to lose. You watched your parents struggle, their lives defined by a constant battle for survival, and a powerful, unspoken contract of loyalty was written on your heart. To surpass my family would be a betrayal. To live with ease while they struggled would be an act of profound guilt. So you hold yourself back, tethered by a love that has become a limitation. Each of these experiences, each of these memories, became another heavy stone, another shovelful of earth, reinforcing the dam, making the trickle of the river even weaker. This is the source of a deep, exhausting conflict within you. A part of you, the eternal, expansive consciousness that you truly are, yearns to tear down the dam. It knows that these contracts are fraudulent. It knows that your worth is inherent, that ease is your birthright, and that abundance is the natural state of the universe. This is the part of you that buys the book, that listens to this audiobook, that dares to dream of a different life. But there is another part of you, the ego mind, the guardian of your survival. And this part is terrified of demolishing the dam. It clings to those old, painful beliefs with a desperate grip. Why? Because they are familiar. The pain of lack is a known pain. The struggle is a predictable struggle. The cage, though small and dark, has been your home for so long that its bars feel like a protective embrace. The ego believes this dam, this collection of limiting beliefs, is what keeps you safe. Safe from the grand disappointment of trying and failing. Safe from the perceived dangers of having too much. Safe from the guilt of surpassing your tribe. And so the war rages. The desire for a boundless ocean of abundance clashes with the terror of leaving the shoreline of your familiar suffering. I want to be free, your soul cries. But it's not safe out there, the ego whispers back. Stay here. At least we know the rules of this game. The light that shatters this illusion is this. You are under no obligation to honor a contract that was signed under duress by a younger, less aware version of yourself. You are not bound by the beliefs you inherited or the conclusions you drew from past pain. You are not the contract. You are not the signature. You are the one who is now reading the terms and realizing they are no longer valid. The power of these roots is entirely dependent on them remaining in the darkness of the subconscious. The moment you shine the light of your present-day awareness upon them, they begin to wither. You do not need to fight them, to attack them, or to feel shame for them. You must simply see them, to see a belief for what it is: an old thought, an outdated survival strategy, to disconnect from its power. The act of conscious observation is the act of nullification. You are reclaiming your authority. You are remembering that you are the one who decides what is true for you now. Here is your practice. It is an act of sacred liberation. Take a journal and a pen. Find a quiet space where you can be with yourself. And begin your archaeological dig. Ask your deepest self this question. What is my oldest, most foundational belief about my own worthiness to receive wealth and abundance? Be still and let the answer surface. Do not judge it or filter it. Write down the first thing that comes. It may be a phrase like, "I am not good enough," or "It's not for people like me," or "I have to struggle to deserve anything." Now, look at that sentence. Look at this old, heavy stone, and for a moment, thank it. Acknowledge its role. Say to it, in your mind or out loud, "Thank you for trying to protect me. Thank you for trying to keep me from getting hurt, from being disappointed, from being seen as greedy. I understand why you were created. Your service is now complete." Feel the resistance in you soften as you offer it, this compassion. Then, take your pen, and with a sense of ceremony and authority, draw a line right through the old belief. Physically strike it out. As you do, feel yourself severing the energetic cord to that limitation. And below it, on a clean line, you will write your new contract. It must be in the present tense, it must be empowering, and it must feel true in your heart. If the old contract was, "I have to struggle to be worthy," your new contract might be, "My worth is inherent and unconditional. I am worthy of receiving abundance with ease and joy." If the old contract was, "Money is dangerous," your new one might be, "I have a wise and healthy relationship with money. It is a tool for good that flows to me and through me." Write your new truth. Read it aloud. Feel the shift in your body as you do. This is not a mere intellectual exercise. It is an act of profound energetic alchemy. It is you, the conscious creator of your reality, canceling an old, disempowering paradigm and deliberately, authoritatively installing a new one. This is how you begin to dismantle the dam, one stone at a time. This is how you invite the river back into your life. We have turned over the soil of the soul. We have bravely faced the old contracts and brought the tangled roots of scarcity into the light of awareness. This is demanding work. It is the work of liberation, but it can stir the sediment at the bottom of the lake, making the waters of the mind feel murky and unsettled. This is a critical moment. Having disturbed the old patterns, we must now create a space for them to settle, to be purified, and to be transformed. We must intentionally enter the most powerful and misunderstood state of being there is. We must enter the stillness. This is not a passive act of waiting. It is an active engagement with the source of all creation. It is the workshop where the frequency of your entire reality is recalibrated. In our modern world, we have become deeply, profoundly afraid of silence. We fear it like a vacuum, an emptiness that threatens to swallow us whole. Our identity has become so entangled with our actions, our thoughts, our roles, and our noise, that we believe if the noise stops, we will cease to exist. We have been conditioned to be producers and consumers, and both roles require constant motion. When we are not producing, we are consuming information, entertainment, distraction. The moment a space of silence opens up, at a red light, in an elevator, in a quiet room, an almost unbearable discomfort arises. It is an inner itch, a nervous agitation, a compulsive urge to fill the void. We reach for our phones, we turn on the television, we start a mental checklist of tasks. We do anything to avoid coming face to face with what lies within that silence. And what is it that we are so afraid of? We are afraid of the feelings we have been successfully running from, the quiet grief that we never fully processed, the low hum of loneliness we drown out with endless scrolling, the formless anxiety about the future we anesthetize with busyness. In the stillness, there is nowhere left to run. The unprocessed emotions catch up to us. The uncomfortable truths surface. We are also afraid of the perceived emptiness itself. We fear that if we look inside, we will find nothing there, a void, a confirmation of our deepest fear, that we are hollow, insignificant, a collection of distractions with no solid core. And so we choose the familiar chaos of the mind over the terrifying peace of the void. We have become addicts, not to a substance, but to stimulation. Our nervous systems are wired to expect the next notification, the next headline, the next jolt of input. Stillness feels like withdrawal. It feels like boredom. It feels like death to the ego that thrives on drama and doing. Here lies the great inner conflict of our time. Every cell in your body, every whisper of your soul craves peace. You long for a moment of genuine rest, a reprieve from the relentless inner monologue. You dream of tranquility. Yet, your conditioned self, your nervous system, your habits, all conspire against it. The desire for serenity is at war with the addiction to distraction. It is a battle between the part of you that wants to come home to yourself and the part of you that is terrified of who you might find there. But here is the luminous, life-altering secret. Stillness is not empty. It is full. It is not a void. It is the womb of creation. It is the fertile ground from which every great idea, every work of art, every inspired solution has ever emerged. The noise is finite. The stillness is infinite. Your thoughts are temporary weather pattern storms, clouds, passing sunshine. The stillness is the vast, unchanging sky that holds all of it. You are not the weather. You are the sky. This realization is the beginning of true freedom. We call this stillness the 0 point. It is a state of pure, neutral potential. In this space, the frantic, buzzing frequency of the echo chamber of lack is neutralized. The old automatic broadcasts are temporarily suspended. At the 0 point, you are not broadcasting fear. You are not broadcasting desire. You are simply present. And from this place of pure presence, a new choice becomes possible. You can consciously choose the frequency you now wish to embody. The universe does not scream its guidance. It whispers it into the spaces between your thoughts. To hear it, you must cultivate a listening ear. You must create the inner silence that allows the whisper to be heard. Stillness is not passive. It is the highest form of receptivity. It is the act of becoming a vessel, ready to be filled. So, how do we enter this space? Not with force, not with strain. We do it with gentleness, with consistency, and with a profound sense of kindness towards ourselves. This is your practice. Let us call it the appointment with stillness. It is not about becoming a good meditator. It is simply about showing up. Find a place and a time where you can have just 5 minutes to yourself. Not a heroic hour, just 5 minutes. Consistency is infinitely more powerful than duration. Sit in a way that is comfortable for your body. You do not need to be a pretzel on the floor. A chair is perfect. Let your hands rest in your lap. Gently close your eyes. Your first and only anchor is your breath. Do not try to control it. Simply notice it. Notice the sensation of the air entering your nostrils, cool and fresh. Notice your chest or your belly rising. Notice the brief pause at the top of the inhale. Then notice the exhale, the release, the letting go. That is all. Your breath is the anchor that moors you to the present moment, to the 0 point. Now, your mind will wander. This is not a sign of failure. It is the sign that you have a human mind. It will produce thoughts, lists, worries, memories. When you notice your mind has wandered, and you will, the practice is simply this. You gently, without any judgment or self-criticism, acknowledge it. You can even label it softly in your mind, thinking, and then, like a loving parent guiding a child back home, you gently guide your attention back to the sensation of your breath. Every time you do this, and you may do it dozens of times in 5 minutes, you are building a spiritual muscle. You are choosing stillness over noise. You are choosing presence over distraction. You are choosing your true self over your conditioned ego. Do not seek a special experience. Do not look for flashing lights or cosmic visions. The goal is simply to become familiar with the background of stillness that is always here, behind the noise. Some days it will feel peaceful. Some days it will feel agitated. It does not matter. You just show up for your appointment. By creating this tiny island of intentional silence in your day, you are creating a sacred laboratory, a space where the old contracts can be dissolved, where the river can begin to flow again, and where the new frequency of abundance can finally find a clear, quiet channel to begin its broadcast. This is where the real change happens, not in the doing, but in the stillness that precedes it. From the sacred, fertile space of stillness, we find ourselves at the 0 point. The deafening noise of the old broadcast has been quieted. The channel is clear, receptive, and waiting for instruction. We now face a crucial choice. What will be the very first signal we consciously send out into this field of infinite potential? What will be the foundational note of the new reality we wish to create? The answer is not complex. It is not something you must strive for, earn, or acquire. It is a power you already possess, a key that has been in your pocket all along. It is the simple, profound, and reality-altering frequency of gratitude. Let us be clear, this is not about polite manners or pretending everything is perfect. We are not talking about toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing. This is about physics. This is about energy. Gratitude, in its purest form, is the most powerful frequency amplifier available to a human being. Imagine your awareness is a small electrical signal. When that signal is one of lack, focusing on what is wrong, what is missing, what you fear, the universe amplifies it, bringing you more circumstances that match that anxious frequency. But when you consciously choose to send out a signal of gratitude, even a small one, the universe, by its very nature, amplifies it. It takes that tiny spark of appreciation and reflects it back to you as a larger fire of blessings. Gratitude is the tuning fork of abundance. When you strike it, your entire energy field begins to vibrate at the frequency of, I have enough, I am supported, there is good in my world. And by the unwavering law of resonance, the universe has no choice but to bring more experiences, opportunities, and resources that match the vibration you are emitting. So if it is this powerful, why is it so difficult? Why does practicing gratitude often feel like a lie when we are in the midst of struggle? The resistance comes from the ego, the guardian of your old identity. The ego thrives on problems. It builds its entire sense of self around its struggles, its victimhood, its narrative of, look how hard my life is. A problem gives the ego a purpose, a story to tell, a justification for its own existence. Gratitude is a direct threat to this identity. To genuinely feel grateful for something, however small, is to admit that the story of total lack is not 100% true. And this admission begins to dismantle the ego's house of cards. The ego will fight this. It will call you a fool, a fantasist. It will urgently point to all the evidence of your problems, the unpaid bills, the difficult relationship, the unfulfilling job, and scream, how can you be grateful when all of this is true? This resistance is amplified by the scarcity filter we have developed. The echo chamber of lack has trained our brains to be hyper-vigilant for threats, problems, and deficiencies. It's an old survival mechanism, but now it acts like a pair of sunglasses that filters out all the golden light of blessings and only allows the gray light of what's wrong to pass through. Good things can be happening all around you, but you may be literally, neurologically blind to them. You are standing in a garden, but your eyes are trained to only see the weeds. This leads to the when-then trap of deferred happiness. I'll be grateful when I get the promotion. I'll feel thankful when my debt is paid. We treat gratitude as a destination, a reward we will give ourselves after we have achieved something. This is the great reversal of truth. Gratitude is not the destination. It is the vehicle that gets you there. This creates the painful inner conflict between the cynical mind and the willing heart. Your mind, the logical processor, demands proof before it will offer thanks. It stands with its arms crossed, saying, "Show me the money, show me the success, and then I will believe." Your heart, the seat of your intuition and your true self, operates on a different principle entirely. It knows that you must offer thanks to generate the proof. It whispers, "But what about the simple miracle of your own breath, flowing in and out without any effort? What about the taste of clean water? What about the strength in your hands? What about the memory of a loved one's smile?" The mind sees this as irrelevant fluff. The heart knows it is the very fabric of life itself. The battle is between the cold demand for evidence and the warm, courageous act of faith. Here is the truth that will silence the cynic and empower your heart. You cannot feel genuine gratitude and genuine lack in the exact same moment. They are neurologically and vibrationally incompatible. They are different radio stations. You cannot listen to both at once. Therefore, gratitude is not a passive emotion. It is an active, strategic, and powerful realignment of your focus. It is a conscious choice. It is a declaration you make to yourself and to the universe, saying, "Despite the appearances of lack, despite the challenges, I choose to place my attention, my energy, and my power on what is good, what is whole, and what is working in my life right now." This declaration is a command. It retrains your brain. It recalibrates your nervous system. It transforms your energetic signature from one of desperate need to one of peaceful sufficiency. And the universe always responds to the frequency of sufficiency. Let us begin a new practice. We will not call it a chore. We will call it a treasure hunt. Your mission, each day, is to find hidden treasures of gratitude. The only rule is this: you must find 3 new treasures each day. They cannot be the same as yesterday's. This rule is crucial, as it forces your mind to move beyond the obvious and to develop a new sensitivity to the subtle richness of your daily life. Here is how you hunt for treasure. At some point in your day, perhaps in the morning or just before you sleep, you will actively look for your 3 treasures. When you find, let's say it's the unexpected warmth of the sun on your face through a window, you don't just note it down. You pause. You close your eyes for just 10 seconds. You fully immerse yourself in the feeling of that treasure. You feel the warmth on your skin. You let the feeling of simple pleasure, of being gifted that moment, fill your chest. You breathe it in. This is the somatic anchor. This is what changes your frequency. Then you move on to the next treasure. Perhaps it is the technology that is allowing these words to reach your ears across time and space. Feel the wonder of it. Feel the gratitude for the minds that created it and the system that delivers it. Then the third. Perhaps it is the simple, profound stability of the chair supporting your body, holding you without any effort on your part. Feel the sensation of being supported. Feel the gratitude for that support. These treasures can be anything. The intricate patterns on a leaf, the taste of your favorite food, a song that lifts your spirit, the memory of a kindness you once received, the fact that your heart is beating on its own. By hunting for these treasures and, more importantly, by feeling them, you are no longer passively waiting for abundance to show up. You are actively mining the gold that is already scattered everywhere in your present moment. You are striking the tuning fork again and again, sending out a clear, powerful, and undeniable signal of abundance. And the universe, the great amplifier, will hear its own native language being spoken, and it will joyfully begin to sing it back to you. As the luminous high frequency of gratitude begins to fill your inner world, it functions like a rising sun. Its gentle light spreads into corners of your being that have been in darkness for years. And like the morning sun illuminating a room, it reveals what has been hidden in the shadows. It reveals the dust, the clutter, and the heavy furniture that has been weighing down your spirit and draining your precious life force. These dense, heavy objects are your old resentments, your lingering regrets, your silent grievances. They are the energetic anchors mooring you to the past. To truly ascend to a new frequency of abundance and freedom, we cannot carry this dead weight with us. We must now engage in the profound and often misunderstood act of energetic purification. We must learn the sacred art of forgiveness. Let us be absolutely clear from the outset. Forgiveness, as we will explore it, has almost nothing to do with the other person. It is not about condoning their behavior, absolving them of responsibility, or even letting them back into your life. Forgiveness is a fierce and radical act of self-love. It is the recognition that holding on to resentment, anger, and blame is like drinking poison yourself and waiting for the other person to get sick. The only one being harmed by the toxic energy of a grudge is the one who holds it. The resentment occupies prime real estate in your mind. It consumes vast amounts of your emotional and creative energy, and it constantly broadcasts a low-frequency signal of victimhood and pain out into the universe, attracting more situations to feel wounded about. It is an anchor cast into the murky waters of a painful past moment, and no matter how much you rev the engines of your ambition, you cannot sail into the bright horizon of your future while you are tethered to that spot. So why do we cling to it so tightly? If it is so damaging, why does a part of us refuse to let go? It is because the ego has convinced us that unforgiveness serves a purpose. It has sold us a false bill of goods. Firstly, the ego mistakes resentment for power. It believes that by constantly replaying a grievance, by holding someone in the mental prison of our anger, we are somehow punishing them and exercising control. It creates a sense of moral superiority, a feeling of being in the right, which can be a potent and addictive substitute for genuine, sovereign power. We get to be the righteous hero of our own tragic story. Secondly, the ego uses unforgiveness as a protective shield. It whispers, "Never forget what they did to you." If you remember the pain vividly enough, you will never allow yourself to be hurt in that way again. It mistakes memory for wisdom and turns a past wound into a permanent fortress. The tragedy is that this fortress, designed to keep out future pain, also keeps out future love, future trust, future connection, and future opportunities. It keeps us small and safe within the walls of our own bitterness. Perhaps the most difficult forgiveness of all is the forgiveness we must extend to ourselves. We are often our own harshest jailers. We hold ourselves hostage to past mistakes, failed projects, and poor judgments. We engage in endless loops of self-blame and regret, believing on some deep level that this self-flagellation is necessary. We believe we must pay for our errors with a prolonged sentence of suffering. To forgive ourselves feels like letting ourselves off the hook too easily. It feels like we are not taking our mistakes seriously. So we carry the weight of our own perceived failures like a heavy cloak, not realizing it is this cloak, and not the original mistake, that is truly preventing us from moving forward. This creates a torturous inner conflict. The soul, your highest self, yearns for peace. It is exhausted by the sheer effort it takes to maintain anger. It knows that your energy could be used to create, to love, to build a beautiful life. It longs for the lightness and freedom that lies on the other side of release. But the ego, the inner lawyer, argues its case with ferocious passion. To forgive is to say what they did was okay, it screams. It is to betray yourself. It is to be weak, a doormat. You have a right to your anger, and so you remain in a stalemate, trapped in the prison of your own righteousness. You stand there, rattling the bars, complaining about the injustice, not realizing the door has been unlocked the entire time. You are the one who holds the key. Forgiveness is that key. Here is the truth that sets you free. Forgiveness is the ultimate declaration of your emotional and energetic sovereignty. It is you standing in your full power and saying, "I will no longer allow a past event to dictate the energetic reality of my present moment. I will no longer allow my precious life force to leak into a black hole of resentment. This story is over. I am reclaiming all of my power, all of my energy, all of my focus, right here, right now." You are not letting them go free. You are letting yourself go free. You are taking the poison out of your own cup and choosing to fill it with the healing nectar of peace instead. To help you with this profound act of liberation, let us engage in a powerful visualization. Let us practice cutting the energetic cords that bind you. Find a quiet moment, close your eyes, and bring to mind one person, one situation, or even a version of your past self that you are holding resentment towards. Do not start with your most traumatic wound. Start with something manageable, a stone you know you can lift. Once you have this person or situation in your mind's eye, I want you to visualize an energetic cord, a rope, or a chain that extends from your own body, perhaps from your stomach, your chest, or your heart, and connects you directly to that person or that memory. Really see this cord. What is its color? Is it dark and sticky, or is it brittle and gray? What is its texture? How thick is it? Become aware that this cord is a two-way street. Your anger, judgment, and resentment flow from you to them. Their energy and the energy of that painful memory flows back to you. It is a constant, draining circuit. Now, place a hand on your own heart. As a gesture of self-love and support, take a deep breath and say, either silently in your mind or softly aloud, these words of power: I acknowledge the pain that occurred here. I see it, and I honor the part of me that was hurt. And now, I make a new choice. I reclaim all of my power and all of my energy that has been entangled in this cord. It belongs to me, and I call it home now. I fully and completely release you, and I fully and completely release me from this bond. As you say these words, imagine in your other hand a powerful tool of light. It could be a luminous sword, a pair of shining golden scissors, or a laser of pure white light. With a clear intention and a decisive movement, see yourself cutting right through the cord. See it severing completely. There is no struggle. It cuts cleanly and effortlessly. Watch as the end of the cord attached to the other person or memory recoils, moving away from you into the distance until it disappears. Then, watch as your end of the cord retracts back into your own body. But, as it returns, it is no longer dark or gray. It returns as pure, golden, liquid, light, your own reclaimed life force. Feel this golden light flooding your body, filling the space that the resentment once occupied. Feel the warmth, the peace, the wholeness. Breathe deeply into this new sense of lightness and freedom. You are no longer anchored to the past. The energy that was being used to keep a wound open is now available to you to create your present. Practice this as often as you need. This is how you heal. This is how you rise. Having cut the heavy, spectral chains of resentment, we have reclaimed the vast reservoirs of energy that were trapped in the past. We have called our power home. There is a new lightness in our being, a newfound freedom. We are no longer anchored to the old, painful shoreline of grievance. We are now floating in a vast, calm sea of pure potential. But a ship without a destination is merely adrift, at the mercy of every random wind and passing current. Freedom without direction is a form of paralysis. Now that we are free, we must choose a harbor. We must give our renewed energy a clear and compelling purpose. To do this, we must turn our attention to the great mirror of our mind. For years, it has been clouded by the dust of doubt, smudged by the fingerprints of past failures, and cracked by trauma. It could only reflect a distorted, murky, and fragmented image of reality. Our task now is to polish this mirror until it shines with such brilliance that it reflects, with perfect, vibrant precision, the reality we now choose to embody. This is the sacred work of clarity. The universe is a cosmic mirror. It does not give you what you want. It reflects back to you who you are being, and it can only reflect your state of being with the same degree of clarity that you hold within yourself. A vague, fuzzy, uncertain signal can only ever receive a vague, fuzzy, and uncertain response. Yet, we live in a state of profound vagueness, and we do so out of fear. We are afraid of being specific. We say things like, I want to be happy, or I want to be successful, or I want more money. We believe this vagueness keeps our options open, that it protects us. But it is a trap. The fear of specificity comes from a fear of commitment. To state a clear, specific desire feels like locking yourself into one path, closing the door on all others. What if I choose the wrong goal? The ego whispers. What if I achieve it and discover I'm still not happy? Vagueness feels like a safe harbor, but it is actually the waiting room of a life unlived. We are also afraid of the sharp, undeniable pain of a specific failure. If your desire is a vague, "I want to be healthier," you can interpret almost any small action, choosing a salad one day, going for one walk, as a success. But if your desire is a specific, "I will run a 5K race in 3 months," you have created a clear, unambiguous benchmark for success or failure. The ego, terrified of failure, would rather keep the goal fuzzy to protect itself from that potential pain. It prefers the dull, chronic ache of stagnation over the acute, possible risk of a clear attempt. And perhaps most pervasively, we are vague because we have lost touch with our own authentic desires. We are so relentlessly bombarded by the desires of others through advertising, culture, and social media that their goals become our own by osmosis. We end up chasing a version of success or wealth that we saw in a movie or on a screen, something that has no genuine resonance with our own soul. We don't know what we want because we have never been quiet enough to listen to the whisper of our own heart over the roar of the world's demands. This leads to the painful inner conflict between a deep longing for direction and a complete paralysis of choice. Your soul craves purpose. It wants a North Star, a guiding principle to organize its energy around. This feeling of being adrift is deeply unsettling to our core. Yet your mind, standing before the infinite buffet of life's possibilities, is overwhelmed. It sees a million paths, and the fear of choosing the wrong one is so immense that it chooses none at all. This is the paralysis of analysis. You spend your life researching the map, comparing all the possible destinations, but you never, ever take the first step onto a real road. Procrastination becomes your primary strategy, a way to indefinitely postpone the possibility of making a mistake. You remain in port, polishing your ship, telling everyone about the grand voyages you plan to take one day, while your life force slowly evaporates in the stillness of inaction. Here is the truth that will set your ship sailing. Clarity is not about flawlessly predicting a distant future. It is about powerfully defining your present emotional state. The universe does not operate like a cosmic catalog where you circle the items you want and wait for delivery. The universe responds to frequency, to feeling, to the resonant energy of your being. Therefore, the highest purpose of clarity is not just to define what you want, but to become exquisitely clear on the feeling of the reality you wish to inhabit. The feeling is the destination. The specific form it takes is merely the scenery along the way. Stop trying to micromanage the how and the what. That is the universe's job, and its creative genius is infinitely greater than yours. Your job, your only job, is to become the master of the feeling. Do you want freedom? What does freedom feel like in your body? Is it a lightness in your chest, an expansion in your breath, an absence of tension in your shoulders? That feeling is your target. That feeling is your North Star. You must create a precise emotional blueprint, a vibrational signature of your desired reality. To do this, we will move beyond a simple vision board of things and into a powerful practice of emotional scripting. This is how you polish the mirror. Find your quiet space. Let the world fall away. Instead of thinking about the things you want to acquire, I want you to choose one core feeling that you want to be the dominant frequency of your life. Let's choose peaceful freedom. Now, take out your journal. You are going to write a short paragraph. The rules are simple. It must be in the first person, it must be in the present tense, and it must focus relentlessly on sensory details and emotions. You are writing a script from a single, perfect, ordinary day in your future life where peaceful freedom is your reality. It might look something like this. I wake up slowly, without an alarm, feeling a deep sense of rest in my bones. The morning light is soft as it comes through the window. I feel a quiet joy as I stretch my body, a feeling of pure gratitude for its health and strength. As I make my coffee, I am not rushing. I am aware of the rich aroma, the warmth of the mug in my hands. I step outside, and the air is cool and fresh on my skin. There is no tightness in my chest, no anxious list of tasks running through my mind. There is only a profound sense of space, a feeling that this day is mine to create as I wish. My work feels like play, a channel for my creativity that leaves me feeling more energized at the end of the day than when I started. I feel a deep, calm confidence. I am supported, I am secure, I am free. This is your script. Your final practice is to live this script for 60 seconds each morning. Read it and then close your eyes. Do not just see the images, feel the emotions. Generate the feeling of the soft light. Generate the feeling of the deep rest in your bones. Generate the feeling of the absence of tension in your chest. Inhabit this feeling state with every cell of your being for 1 full minute. You are not pretending, you are rehearsing. You are calibrating your energetic signature to match the reality you are calling in. You are polishing the mirror of your mind until it reflects a sharp, vibrant, unwavering image of peaceful freedom. And the universe, the great mirror, seeing this beautiful, clear reflection, will have no choice but to rearrange itself to bring you the full, magnificent experience of what you are so clearly and beautifully broadcasting. The mirror of your mind is now clear. It is polished and bright, reflecting the sharp, vibrant image of the reality you have chosen, the feeling state you have so carefully defined. You have practiced inhabiting this new emotional home. You have rehearsed it until it feels familiar, until it feels like you. This inner work is the most crucial part of creation. But creation is a marriage between the unseen and the seen, between energy and form. A reflection in a mirror, no matter how beautiful, remains a reflection until you take a step towards it, until you reach out and interact with the world it represents. We must now build a bridge between the inner landscape of your cultivated frequency and the outer landscape of your physical life. We must learn to move, but this cannot be the movement of your past. It cannot be the frantic, exhausting, desperate striving born from the echo chamber of lack. We must now learn the powerful and graceful art of a new kind of movement. This is the art of aligned action. Imagine 2 people in 2 boats, both wanting to cross a wide expanse of water. The first person is in a rowboat. He believes that the only way to get to the other side is through his own brute force. He puts his head down, grits his teeth, and rows with all his might. He fights the currents, he battles the winds, his muscles burn, and his mind is filled with the strain of the effort. He is powered by fear, the fear that if he stops rowing for even a moment, he will be lost. This is the energy of hustle, of forced action. The second person is in a sailboat. She does not begin by fighting the water. She begins by becoming sensitive to the elements around her. She feels the direction of the unseen wind. She watches the movement of the currents. Her first action is one of awareness. Then, she raises her sails, not to fight the wind, but to catch it, to cooperate with it. She uses a power far greater than her own to carry her forward. She still works, she must tack, she must steer, she must be attentive, but her work is intelligent, graceful, and cooperative. She is powered by wisdom and trust. This is the energy of aligned action. For too long, you have been told that the only noble way to live is to be the rower. I am here to tell you that your birthright is to be the sailor. Our entire culture is addicted to the rower's mentality. We have built a cult of the hustle. We are taught from a young age that our value is directly proportional to our level of visible effort and suffering. No pain, no gain, rise and grind. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor. This conditioning has had a profound psychological effect. It has made us deeply distrustful of ease. If an opportunity comes easily, we suspect it's a trick. If a creative idea flows effortlessly, we devalue it as not being real work. If an action feels joyful and light, a part of our mind immediately criticizes us for being lazy or frivolous. We have come to believe, on a deep, subconscious level, that for an action to be worthy and productive, it must feel hard. This belief system is born directly from the frequency of lack. Forced action is the physical expression of the belief. The universe will not support me, so I must force it to yield what I need. It is an energy of pushing, controlling, and manipulating reality. Aligned action is the physical expression of the frequency of abundance. Its underlying belief is, I am already supported. The flow of life is moving towards my good. Now how can I express this wholeness in the world? It is an energy of allowing, co-creating, and dancing with reality. This gives rise to a critical inner conflict, the battle between the impatience of the ego and the profound trust of the soul. After you have polished your mirror of clarity, after you have felt the feeling of your new reality, your ego starts tapping its foot. It looks at the outside world, at your bank account, at your circumstances, and if it doesn't see an immediate, miraculous change, it panics. This panic is a powerful force. It screams, "This feeling good stuff isn't working. It's too slow. We have bills to pay. We have to get out there and make something happen." And in that panic, you abandon the sailboat and jump back into the exhausting rowboat of your old patterns. You start making frantic calls, sending desperate emails, forcing solutions. You revert to the hustle because, while exhausting, it gives you the illusion of being in control. Your soul, however, operates on a different timetable. It understands the organic, natural laws of creation. It knows that you have planted a seed, and a seed needs time in the quiet darkness of the soil to germinate. The soul trusts this period of gestation. It encourages you to wait for the true, inspired impulse, the intuitive nudge, the brilliant idea that appears suddenly in the shower, the synchronistic opportunity. The conflict is between your ego's desperate need for immediate external proof and your soul's quiet, unwavering faith in divine timing. Here is the truth that will guide your hand and calm your heart. Your actions are not meant to get you wealth or love or peace. Your actions are meant to be the expression of the wealth, love, and peace you have already cultivated within. This is a fundamental shift. Stop asking the world, "What should I do to get what I want?" Instead, tune into the frequency of your desired feeling state and ask your inner self, as the embodiment of this beautiful feeling, what am I inspired to do right now? The feeling itself becomes your compass. The purpose of action is no longer to fill a void of lack, but to joyfully express a state of fullness. This leads us to a simple, in-the-moment practice. Let us call it the alignment check-in. Before you take any significant action, before you start a project, make an important phone call, or send a crucial email, you must pause. First, take one deep, conscious breath. Bring yourself out of the frantic momentum of your thoughts and into the present moment. Second, tune in. Briefly call to mind the feeling state you have been practicing. If your state is peaceful freedom, then for just a few seconds, generate that feeling of peace and expansion in your body. Reconnect with your North Star. Third, with that feeling present in your body, now hold the thought of the action you are about to take, and ask your inner wisdom these questions. Does this action feel like a natural extension of peaceful freedom? Does the thought of doing this expand the feeling of peace within me, or does it contract it? Is this impulse coming from a place of genuine inspiration and excitement, or is it coming from a place of desperation and fear? Fourth, and this is the most important step, you must have the courage to honor the answer. If the action feels light, expansive, and exciting, even if it's also a little scary, which is normal for growth, then proceed with full confidence. You are catching the wind in your sails, but if it feels heavy, draining, and contracted, if it feels like a should or a have to, then you must have the discipline and the self-love to wait. Do not act. Trust that by refusing to engage in misaligned action, you are keeping the channel open for the truly inspired and far more powerful, action to reveal itself. It always will. This is how you stop rowing and start sailing. This is how your life transforms from a struggle against reality into a dance with it. You have learned to sail, not to row. You have stopped fighting the current and have begun to cooperate with the unseen winds of the universe. From the quiet harbor of your stillness, you have sent out a clear, powerful signal of your desired reality. You have acted upon the inspired nudges, the impulses of light and expansion. You have done your part in the great dance of creation. And now, the universe begins to respond. The echo of your new frequency starts to return to you. It comes not as a vague hope, but as tangible reality. It shows up as a synchronous opportunity, an unexpected check in the mail, a person who offers the exact help you need, a creative idea that feels like a gift from the heavens. The guest you invited is now knocking at your door, and here, at the very threshold of your desired reality, you will face one of the most subtle and powerful tests of your entire journey. You have learned how to give your energy. Now you must learn how to take it in. You must master the profound and often uncomfortable art of allowing and receiving. This is the missing piece of the puzzle for so many seekers. We are taught that it is noble to give, but selfish to receive. We are praised for our hard work and our independence, but we are subtly shamed for accepting help, as if it were a sign of weakness. This conditioning runs so deep that we become energetic anomalies. We are all exhale and no inhale. We give, we do, we strive, we push our energy out into the world, but we forget or refuse to take a deep, nourishing breath in. And we wonder why we feel so depleted, so empty. We are trying to live on only half of the cycle of life. Giving and receiving are not opposites. They are two parts of a single fluid motion, like the rising and falling of the tide. To dam one is to stagnate the other. Why do we do this? Why do we consciously ask for abundance and then subconsciously push it away when it arrives? The primary reason is the old, insidious program of unworthiness. The echo chamber of lack has a foundational belief that says, "I am not good enough." When a gift from the universe appears, especially if it arrives with ease, it creates a state of profound cognitive dissonance. The external reality of the gift contradicts the internal reality of our perceived unworthiness. This dissonance is so uncomfortable that our subconscious mind will immediately work to resolve it. And the easiest way to resolve it is to get rid of the gift. We reject the help. We explain away the synchronicity as a fluke. We spend the unexpected money immediately on something frivolous. We sabotage the perfect opportunity. We do this to restore ourselves to the familiar, albeit painful, equilibrium of not deserving. Another powerful block is the fear of indebtedness. We have been taught that nothing is free. Every gift, we believe, comes with invisible strings attached, a future obligation we will have to repay. This makes us suspicious. When someone offers a kindness, we wonder, what do they want from me? To avoid this perceived energetic debt, we reject the offer. We prefer to struggle alone rather than feel beholden to anyone, including the universe itself. This fear is intertwined with the ego's trap of fierce independence. For those of us who are capable and self-reliant, receiving can feel like a confession of failure. I should be able to do this myself, the ego insists. We want the satisfaction and the glory of solo victory, not realizing that this very desire for isolation is what cuts us off from the interconnected web of support that is always available. We are like a single tree trying to withstand a storm alone, refusing to acknowledge the strength of the interlocking root system of the entire forest. This creates a painful and absurd inner conflict. We spend our nights praying for a breakthrough, asking the universe for help, for a sign, for some relief from the struggle. And then, the next day, that help arrives in a human vessel. A friend offers to lend us money. A colleague offers to share their expertise. A stranger offers a genuine, heartfelt compliment that could lift our spirits for the entire day. And what do? we immediately activate our deflection shields. Oh no, I couldn't possibly accept. Thank you, but I've got it covered. Oh, this old thing? I got it on sale. We consciously beg for the rain, and when the clouds finally gather and begin to shower us with nourishment, we frantically open an umbrella. We are actively blocking the answers to our own prayers. Here is the truth that will open your hands and your heart. Receiving is not passive. It is an active, courageous, and essential part of creation. When you gracefully receive, you are sending a powerful affirmation back to the universe. You are saying, yes, I am worthy of this gift. Yes, I trust in your goodness and your support. Yes, I am available for more of this. You are completing the energetic circuit. Your act of receiving allows the flow of abundance to move through you, not just to you. When you graciously accept a compliment, you not only receive the energy of appreciation, you also gift the other person the joy of giving. When you allow someone to help you, you give them an opportunity to express their own generosity and abundance. To refuse to receive is to block the flow for everyone. Allowing is an act of grace. Let us begin the practice of opening the door. Let us learn to say yes. We will call it the practice of conscious reception. We will start small, with the most common and frequently deflected gift, a compliment. For the next week, your mission is to become a master receiver of compliments. The next time someone offers you one, you look great today. That was a brilliant idea. I really appreciate you. You must resist with all your might the conditioned urge to diminish it, deflect it, or argue with it. Instead, you will perform 3 simple, powerful actions. First, you will pause, just for a single second. No immediate reaction. Second, you will take a small, silent breath in. This is not just a breath of air. It is the physical act of taking in their positive energy, of letting it land within you. Third, you will look them in the eye, offer a genuine smile, and say the 2 most powerful words of reception, thank you. That is all. No follow-up clauses. No buts. Just a clean, clear thank you. Feel how different that is. Feel the solidness of it. Feel how it honors both you and the giver. Once you have practiced with compliments, you can expand your capacity. When a friend offers to buy you a coffee, pause, breathe, and consider saying, thank you, I'd love that. When an intuitive idea for your project arrives, instead of immediately listing all the reasons it won't work, pause, breathe, and say, thank you for this inspiration. I am open to exploring it. When a surprising opportunity appears, instead of your first thought being, what's the catch? Let your first thought be, what is the gift here? Thank you. This is how you retrain your nervous system. You are teaching your body and your mind that it is safe to receive. It is good to be supported. You are worthy of the gifts of the universe. You are opening the door, unlatching the windows, and letting the light and air of abundance finally flow into the beautiful home you have so lovingly prepared. You have opened your hands. You have learned to say thank you to the universe and mean it, allowing the gifts of your new frequency to flow into your life. This is a state of grace, a joyful and expansive dance with reality. But like any beautiful garden, this inner landscape of abundance requires gentle and consistent tending. Like any powerful flame, it must be protected and fueled. The initial thrilling excitement of these new practices will naturally have its own rhythm. It will ebb and flow. Life will present challenges. Old habits will whisper their seductive invitations to return to the familiar, and the world will test your resolve. To ensure that this newfound state of being is not just a fleeting holiday but your permanent new address, we must now embrace a quality that our culture has deeply misunderstood. We must learn to wield the power of discipline. But this is not the cold, rigid discipline of a harsh taskmaster. This is the warm, loving, and unwavering discipline of a devoted keeper tending to a sacred inner flame. The word discipline itself often lands with a thud. For most of us, it is a word dripping with negative associations. Our first experience of it was likely as punishment or correction from parents and teachers. It became synonymous with restriction, with being forced to do something against our will, with the shame of not measuring up. In our modern pursuit of freedom, we have come to see discipline as its opposite. We imagine freedom is the ability to do whatever we feel like in any given moment. From this perspective, discipline looks like a cage, a limitation on our spontaneity. We have also been conditioned to act only when we feel the fickle rush of motivation. Motivation is like a lightning strike, powerful, brilliant, but utterly unpredictable. When it vanishes, as it always does, we believe we have a valid reason to abandon our practices. We fall back into our old grooves, waiting for the next lightning strike of inspiration, not realizing we have failed to build the underlying structure that can carry us through the calm, quiet, and unmotivated days. This reveals a core inner conflict that resides in all of us, the battle between our sincere desire for a result and our moment-to-moment resistance to the process. You want the peaceful mind that meditation brings, but you resist the discipline of sitting in stillness on a morning when your thoughts are racing like wild horses. You want the vibrant health and energy, but you resist the discipline of choosing nourishing food when the immediate, easy comfort of junk food is calling your name. You want the abundant, creative life, but you resist the discipline of your daily gratitude practice when you feel tired and overwhelmed. It is the timeless struggle between the wise, long-term vision of your higher self and the immediate, comfort-seeking impulses of your conditioned ego. Your ego wants the instant gratification of one more scroll on your phone, one more episode of a show, one more indulgence in a negative thought pattern. It seeks the path of least resistance in the moment, even if that path leads off a cliff in the long run. Discipline is the loving intervention. It is the voice of your own higher wisdom, choosing what your soul wants most over what your ego wants now. Here is the truth that will transform your relationship with this powerful art. Discipline is not the cage. It is the key that unlocks you from the prison of your own reactive impulses. Discipline is not the enemy of freedom. It is the architect of it. The chaotic slavery to every passing whim, every distraction, every fleeting emotion that is not freedom. True freedom is the power to consciously and consistently choose your state of being, regardless of external circumstances or internal moods. It is the ability to be the calm center of the storm, and this unshakable inner power is forged in the gentle, steady fire of your daily, disciplined devotion to your inner flame. Motivation is the spark that lights the fire. Discipline is the act of consistently adding small sticks of fuel to keep it burning day after day. One is an event, the other is a practice. And it is the practice that creates the reality. So, how do we cultivate this loving discipline? We do it not by making grand, unsustainable promises to ourselves, but by creating a small, sacred, and non-negotiable ritual. This is your practice, the tending of the flame. First, I want you to identify your most essential practices. From this journey so far, which one or two actions have the most profound impact on your state of being? Perhaps it is the 5 minutes of stillness. Perhaps it is the gratitude treasure hunt. Perhaps it is reading your clarity script. Choose what feels most nourishing to your soul. Second, you will define your non-negotiable minimum. This is the most crucial part. You are not committing to an hour of meditation and journaling every day. That is a recipe for failure and self-criticism. You are committing to the absolute bare minimum you can accomplish on your worst, busiest, most uninspired day. If your practice is stillness, maybe your non-negotiable minimum is 60 seconds. 1 minute of conscious, still breathing. If your practice is gratitude, maybe your minimum is naming a single thing you are grateful for and truly feeling it. The bar must be set so low that it is almost laughable to even consider not doing it. This is not about impressive feats. It is about unbroken consistency. Third, you will anchor this minimum ritual to an existing, unshakable habit. You will tether it to something you already do automatically. For example, Every morning, immediately after I turn off my alarm, before my feet touch the floor, I will practice 60 seconds of stillness. Or, every night, as I put my toothbrush back in its holder, I will name one new gratitude from my day and feel it in my heart. By linking the new ritual to an old one, you remove the need for willpower. It simply becomes the next step in a sequence. Finally, you must reframe this act. This is not a chore on your to-do list to be checked off. This is your sacred appointment with the architect of your reality, your own soul. This is the most important meeting of your day. It is the act of lovingly placing a small, dry stick on your inner fire. It is a quiet declaration to yourself and to the universe that you are devoted to your own becoming. By keeping this small, simple promise to yourself every single day, without fail, you build something far more valuable than motivation. You build self-trust. You build energetic momentum. You prove to yourself, on a cellular level, that you are someone who shows up, and the universe, seeing this unwavering devotion, this steady growing flame, will bring you circumstances and opportunities that match the beautiful, reliable warmth you are so lovingly tending within. Through your loving and consistent devotion, you have become the keeper of a sacred inner flame. You have protected it from the winds of doubt, cleared away the debris of resentment, and fueled it with the golden light of gratitude. This flame is no longer a fragile, flickering spark. It has grown into a steady, warm, and radiant light at the very core of your being. This light, this new, high frequency of abundance, cannot be contained. It is its nature to expand. It inevitably begins to shine outward, not as a force you project, but as a quality of perception that changes the very lens through which you view your world. The great shift is now at hand. You no longer need to chase or seek wealth, because now, with your new eyes, you will begin to see it and experience it absolutely everywhere. For your entire life, you have been looking at the world through a specific set of perceptual filters. A mind conditioned by lack operates like a person wearing gray-tinted glasses. Everything appears dull, difficult, and limited. The vibrant colors of opportunity, generosity, and beauty are muted, or worse, rendered completely invisible. Your brain, in its effort to be efficient, has a mechanism, a kind of internal gatekeeper that filters the billions of bits of information you are exposed to every second. It only allows in the data that it deems relevant to your dominant beliefs and focus. When your dominant focus was lack, your brain was on a mission, scanning your reality exclusively for evidence of it. The unpaid bill, the problem at work, the thing that was broken, the opportunity that was missed. It was literally programmed to ignore the overwhelming evidence of the contrary. You were not seeing the world as it is. You were seeing the world as your programming dictated. The work you have done, the stillness, the gratitude, the forgiveness, the discipline has been a process of consciously reprogramming this powerful internal filter. You have been giving your brain a new mission. You have told it, abundance is now my primary focus. Scan for that. And so, it begins to obey. It starts to actively search for and highlight experiences that match this new directive. This is not a fantasy, it is neurology. You begin to notice things that were there all along, but were previously invisible to you. It's like taking off the gray glasses and seeing the true, astonishing colors of the world for the very first time. You haven't changed the world, but you have fundamentally changed your ability to perceive its infinite, multifaceted richness. As this new perception dawns, your old, cynical mind will likely stage a rebellion. This is the last stand of the scarcity mindset. As you begin to find profound wealth in the beauty of a sunset, the cynical mind will sneer, "That's very poetic, but it can't pay your rent." As you feel a sense of abundance from the generosity of a friend, it will whisper, "That's just a one-off. It doesn't mean anything." The cynical mind is a literalist. It has been trained to believe that wealth is a number in a bank account, and nothing more. It will try to invalidate your new, expanded perceptions by holding them up against this narrow, outdated ruler. It will fight to pull you back into the small, familiar cage of a purely monetary definition of wealth. This is the conflict between a concrete mind and an energetic heart. The mind demands quantifiable, material proof. The heart finds its proof in the feeling of expansion, in the experience of connection, in the awe of beauty. Your task is to gently, lovingly, and firmly side with the heart. Your task is to understand that the cynic is simply afraid, trying to protect you with its old, limited logic. You can acknowledge its concern without giving it your power. You can hear its argument and choose, instead, to trust your new, more expansive vision. Here is the truth that will anchor you in this new reality. The universe is infinitely, extravagantly abundant, but you can only perceive and experience the sliver of that abundance that you are a vibrational match for. Therefore, learning to see wealth everywhere is not a trivial or poetic exercise. It is the most practical and powerful skill you can possibly develop. Every single time you consciously acknowledge wealth in a non-monetary form, you are performing a potent act of energetic alignment. When you look at the intricate, perfect geometry of a spider's web and think, "That is wealth," you are sending a powerful message to the universe. I understand. I see the intelligence, the design, the abundance. I am a match to this. When you experience the kindness of a stranger and think, "That is wealth," you are affirming, "I see the generosity, the connection, the support. I am a match to this." Each acknowledgement is a vote you cast. It reinforces your new frequency. It expands your capacity to receive. It trains you to live in a constant state of being surrounded by and connected to wealth. And by the unwavering law of life, the state you consistently inhabit is the state that must manifest for you in ever more tangible and material ways. To turn this concept into a living, breathing reality, we will begin a simple, joyful practice. It is called the Wealth Walk. Once a day, for just 10 minutes, I invite you to go for a walk. The purpose of this walk is not exercise or transportation. It is a dedicated perceptual training session. Your sole intention is to find as much evidence of wealth and abundance as you possibly can. You will become a detective of opulence. As you walk, let your eyes scan your surroundings with this new mission. Look for wealth in all its forms. In nature, you might see the staggering wealth of life in a single patch of grass, the thousands of leaves on a single tree, the complex, self-sustaining ecosystem of a park. You might feel the wealth of the life-giving oxygen you are breathing, or the boundless, open sky above you. Acknowledge it. The sheer number of stars in the night sky. That is wealth. Look for it in man-made structures. See the wealth of human ingenuity in a towering building, the wealth of cooperative effort in a clean street, the incredible wealth of knowledge contained within a single library you pass, the silent, magical wealth of the electrical grid powering your city. Acknowledge it. The complex system that brings clean water to my home, that is wealth. Look for it in human connection. See the wealth in the laughter of children, the shared glance between an old couple, the focused skill of a chef in a restaurant kitchen, the patience of a driver who lets you cross the street. Acknowledge it. The trust that allows us all to move through this city together, that is wealth. With each discovery, big or small, you will simply say in your mind, "That is wealth." Or, "I see the abundance here." Do not analyze it. Do not let the cynical mind debate its monetary value. Simply tag the experience, label it. You are consciously building a new neural pathway. You are training your mind, your eyes, and your heart to see what has always been there. You are graduating from the kindergarten of lack into the grand university of abundance. And soon, you will find that you no longer need to go on a special walk to do this. This way of seeing will become your natural default state. You will live and breathe in a world that is constantly revealing its richness to you, because you have finally, truly, learned how to see. Through your new, awakened eyes, you have begun to witness the truth. You see that the world is not a barren desert of scarcity, but a landscape of extravagant abundance. You have seen the wealth in the sky, in the trees, in human kindness, in brilliant ideas. You have recognized its constant, shimmering presence. The next stage of your evolution is to learn how to draw this abundance to you, not by frantic striving, but by becoming an irresistible vessel for it. To understand this principle, we must turn to one of the most simple and profound laws of the natural world. Water always flows to the lowest point. The river of wealth, of opportunity, of grace is constantly flowing. To attract it into your life, you must stop trying to be the mountain. You must learn the quiet, magnetic power of becoming the basin. Our culture worships the mountain. From our earliest days, we are taught to climb, to achieve, to compete, to get to the top. We are told to make a name for ourselves, to stand out, to be seen. The ego loves this idea. It wants to be the highest peak, impressive and visible, admired by all from below. But let us consider the energetics of the mountain. It is sharp, jagged, hard, and windswept. When the nourishing rain of abundance falls, it cannot be held on the steep slopes. It runs right off. The peak may have the best view, but it is often a lonely, barren, and inhospitable place. Nothing can accumulate there. Nothing can take root. The energy of the mountain is one of aggressive, outward projection. It is an energy of, look at me. Now, consider the basin, the valley. It is the opposite. It is low, soft, curved, and receptive. It does not seek attention. Its power is in its humility, its very lowness. And because of this, it naturally, without any effort, receives everything. All the life-giving water that runs off the mountain peaks gathers in the basin. All the rich, fertile topsoil, eroded from the high places, is deposited there. The valley becomes a lush, green, vibrant ecosystem teeming with life and creativity. It is where things grow. It is where life flourishes. Its energy is one of quiet, magnetic attraction. It is an energy of welcome home. For too long, you have been exhausting yourself trying to be the mountain. The invitation now is to discover the profound power and ease of becoming the basin. This requires us to confront the parts of our ego that are addicted to the mountain climbing mentality. A person who is always on, always talking, always needing to be the center of attention, has no space to receive. Their energy is constantly pushing outward, leaving no room for anything new to come in. Think of the person in a meeting who must dominate the conversation, whose primary goal is to prove how smart they are. They may win the argument, but they lose the opportunity to receive a new perspective, a brilliant idea from a quieter colleague, or the gift of genuine collaboration. Their cup is already overflowing with their own ego. A tense, stressed, and striving person is like hard-baked earth. The rain of opportunity may fall, but it cannot soak in. It simply pools and evaporates or runs off. A relaxed, open, calm, and receptive person is like soft-tilled soil. It effortlessly absorbs every drop of nourishment that comes its way. This creates one of the most sophisticated inner conflicts on the spiritual path. The ego's desperate need to be great versus the soul's quiet wisdom to simply be spacious. The ego equates being low, quiet, or empty with being a nobody. It equates humility with humiliation. To the ego, becoming the valley feels like losing. It wants to build a towering legacy, to make a mark, to be remembered as a great peak. But the soul understands a different, more potent form of power. It knows that true power is not forceful, it is magnetic, it is attractive. The soul is not afraid of being empty, because it knows that only in emptiness can one be truly filled. It is not afraid of being quiet, because it knows that only in silence can one hear the guidance of the universe. It is not afraid of being low, because it knows that this is the posture that allows all good things to flow to it with grace and ease. The struggle is between the ego's outward thrust for recognition and the soul's inward cultivation of receptive stillness. Here is the truth that will resolve this conflict. Stop trying to climb. Start deepening. Your ultimate value is not in how high you can build your tower of ego, but in how deep you can carve your basin of being. The universe is constantly showering this world with the rain of abundance. It does not fall on the highest peaks. It pools in the deepest valleys. Your work is no longer to chase the rain. Your work is to become the most receptive basin you can be. Humility is the key. And humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is simply thinking of yourself less. It is a shift in focus from "how can I be impressive" to "how can I be of service?" From "what can I get?" to "what can passing through me?" This humble spaciousness is an energetic state that the universe adores. It rushes to fill a receptive void. How do we practice this? How do we consciously carve our basin deeper each day? It is done through small, consistent acts of letting go of the need to be the mountain. First, practice in your conversations. The next time you are speaking with someone, enter the interaction with a new intention. Instead of your goal being to share your opinion, prove your point, or tell your story, make your goal to become a spacious container for them. Listen with the intent to truly understand, not just to reply. Get curious. Ask questions. Notice the ego's urge to interrupt with, "Oh, that happened to me too," and just gently let it pass. Feel the quiet power in simply receiving another person's reality without needing to impose your own upon it. You are becoming the basin for them. Second, practice in your work and your projects. Instead of asking, "How can I be the star here? How can I get the credit?" Ask a different set of questions. What does this project need to flourish? How can I best serve the whole? How can I support my colleagues in expressing their unique genius? Let go of your fierce attachment to your own ideas. When you create a space where the best idea can win, regardless of who it came from, you create a fertile valley where genius can blossom. Third, practice in your daily life by releasing the need to be right. This is a powerful ego dissolver. In small, insignificant disagreements about the best way to drive somewhere, about a fact in a movie, about a political opinion notice, the intense, visceral urge in you to fight, to defend, to prove your point. And then, as a conscious act of carving your basin, just let it go. It is not about admitting you are wrong. It is about deciding that your inner peace is more valuable than your ego's victory. Every time you choose peace over being right, you are deepening your capacity to receive. You are signaling to the universe that you are more interested in flow than in friction. You are becoming the lush, quiet valley, ready and waiting for the rain, and it will surely come. By courageously choosing to become the basin instead of the mountain, you have altered the very gravity of your energetic field. You have cultivated a deep, quiet, and receptive space within, and the waters of abundance are beginning to flow toward you, seeking their natural resting place. Your inner lake is filling, but here we must understand a crucial law of all living systems. That which only receives and never gives becomes stagnant. A lake with an inlet but no outlet becomes a swamp, its waters choked and lifeless. For your inner lake to remain fresh, clear, vibrant, and full of life, it must participate in the great, sacred cycle of circulation. It must have an outlet. We must now turn our attention from the art of receiving to the art of releasing. We must explore how we interact with the most tangible symbol of abundance, money, and understand that every transaction, every dollar that passes through our hands, is a potent, energetic act with the power to create our future. This is the karma of money. Karma is not a system of cosmic punishment and reward. It is simply the unerring law of cause and effect applied to the realm of energy. It is the law of the harvest. What you sow, you shall reap. And every single dollar you spend or give away is an energetic seed you are planting in the garden of your reality. Money itself is neutral. It is like a copper wire, a simple conductor. It is not good, it is not evil. It is merely an amplifier for the energy and intention of the person who wields it. You are the one who gives the current its charge. The energy you infuse into your money as it leaves your hands is the very energy that will be amplified as it returns to you in the future. Let us look honestly at the energy we typically attach to our money. For most people, the act of spending is accompanied by a feeling of pain, a subtle contraction. When we pay a bill, we often do it with a sigh of resentment, a feeling of losing something, a focus on what is being depleted from our account. We send that bill off with the energy of lack and burden. When we buy groceries, we might feel a low-grade anxiety, a mental calculation of scarcity. We infuse the money we pay for our nourishment with the energy of worry. When we spend money on ourselves on something that brings us pure joy or comfort, we often feel a pang of guilt. Am I being frivolous? Should I be saving this instead? We taint the money meant for our own joy with the frequency of unworthiness. Even our giving can be contaminated. We might donate to a cause or help a friend, but do so with a knot of fear in our stomach, wondering, will I have enough left for myself? We perform an outer act of abundance while vibrating with an inner reality of scarcity. This sends a confused, chaotic signal to the universe. This conflicted relationship with spending stems from a deep inner battle, the ego's desire to hoard versus the soul's wisdom of circulation. The part of you that is still connected to the echo chamber of lack operates from a deep-seated fear of the future. It believes that resources are finite and that security can only be found by accumulating and guarding as much as possible. It wants to build a dam at the outlet of your lake to stop any water from flowing out. This hoarding instinct sees every dollar spent as a permanent loss, a chip away at its fortress of security. But your soul, your higher self, knows that life is flow. It knows that a river's power is in its constant, unimpeded movement. It knows that to hold on too tightly is to create the very stagnation and decay that the ego fears. The soul trusts that as long as the outlet is open and flowing freely, the universal source, the inlet, will continue to supply it endlessly. The conflict is between seeing your life as a small, finite pond that must be guarded, and seeing it as a dynamic part of an infinite, ever-flowing ocean of abundance. Here is the truth that will unblock your flow. Every time you spend, give, or receive money, you are presented with a sacred opportunity to bless the world and affirm your own abundance. You must begin to see your transactions not as depletions, but as acts of circulation. You are not losing money, you are directing the flow of universal energy. The charge you give that energy as it flows through you determines everything. Therefore, you must retrain your perception of every financial act. A bill is no longer a burden. It is a testament to the value you have already received. The electricity bill is evidence of the magical power that lit your home and warmed your food. The rent or mortgage payment is a grateful acknowledgement for the shelter that keeps you safe and comfortable. When you pay these bills, you will no longer do so with resentment. You will do so with a quiet, powerful feeling of gratitude, transforming a low-frequency act into a high-frequency one. Spending money on groceries is no longer an exercise in anxiety. It is a joyful investment in your own life force and vitality. Spending money on something that brings you joy is no longer a guilty indulgence. It is a potent declaration to the universe that you are worthy of receiving and enjoying its gifts. And giving money away is no longer a fearful act. It is a confident expression of your trust in the infinite source, a joyful participation in the circulation of cosmic good. To make this transformation tangible, you will adopt a new ritual. It is simple, it takes only a moment, but it will fundamentally alter the karma of your money. We will call it the conscious circulation ritual. Before any financial transaction, whether you are tapping a credit card, handing over cash, or clicking a Buy Now button online, you will pause. Just for one single conscious breath, you will interrupt the automatic, unthinking nature of the act. In that brief pause, you will silently bless the money itself. Acknowledge it for its service as a tool of exchange, a symbol of energy. Thank you for your service. Then, you will silently bless the recipient of the money. If you are at a cafe, you will send a thought of goodwill to the business and everyone who works there. May this energy bless and support this establishment and the livelihoods of all who contribute to it. If you are paying a utility bill, you will send a thought of gratitude. Thank you for the reliable service you provide. May this energy support your continued success. This act eradicates resentment and replaces it with grace. Finally, as you complete the transaction, you will silently bless yourself. You will affirm the truth of your new reality. There is always more where that came from. I am a clear and open channel for abundance. I release this with joy, and I know it will return to me multiplied. This entire ritual can take less than 3 seconds, yet its energetic impact is immeasurable. You are consciously taking a neutral tool and infusing it with the high frequencies of gratitude, goodwill, and trust. You are no longer just spending money. You are sowing seeds of blessing. You are not just paying a bill. You are participating in the sacred flow of universal abundance. And having sown these beautiful, powerful seeds, you can rest in the certain knowledge that the harvest you receive will be just as beautiful and just as abundant. By consciously directing the karma of your money, by sowing seeds of gratitude and trust with every transaction, you have aligned yourself with the great universal law of circulation. You have become a clear channel for abundance. As you do this, you begin to see the tangible results. Your inner lake is not only full, but it is flowing, alive, and vibrant. Your outer world, the faithful mirror, begins to reflect this new reality. Opportunities flow to you with greater ease. Your sense of security deepens. And right here, in this beautiful new landscape of success and flow, a new, more subtle and insidious enemy can emerge from the shadows. It is the cold whisper of a very old fear, the fear of loss. Having finally arrived in this promised land, you become terrified of being cast out of it. Your joy becomes tinged with anxiety. Your peace is disturbed by the question, but what if this doesn't last? To truly secure your freedom, to make it unshakable, you must now learn and embody the most graceful and potent of all spiritual arts. You must master the wisdom of impermanence and the practice of non-attachment. Imagine you are walking on a beach and find a handful of the most beautiful shimmering sand. It is exquisite. You want to possess it, to keep it forever. Your first instinct is to clench your fist as tightly as you can, to guard it from the wind and the world. But the moment you do this, the sand begins to escape through the cracks between your fingers. The harder you squeeze, the faster you lose it. Your very act of grasping, born of fear, causes the loss you are trying to prevent. Now, imagine instead that you simply cup your hands gently, creating an open, relaxed palm. The sand rests there, safe and beautiful. You can admire it, enjoy it, feel its warmth. Nothing is lost because there is no tension, no grasping. This is the essence of non-attachment. It is not about not possessing. It is about the way in which you possess. The clenched fist is attachment. The open palm is non-attachment. Our deep-seated human suffering arises from our desperate attempt to build a permanent fortress in a world where everything, by its very nature, is in a state of flow. We try to clench our fists around life. We equate our security with the things we have accumulated, the money in our savings account, the title on our business card, the deed to our house. We fuse our very identity to these external and inherently impermanent forms. When these forms are threatened, we feel as though our very self is threatened with annihilation. This terror is often magnified by the traumas of our past. If you have ever experienced a significant loss of a job, of a home, of a relationship, a part of your psyche becomes hyper-vigilant, eternally scanning the horizon for the next storm. This trauma drives the compulsive need to control the present, to cling white-knuckled to whatever good you currently have, believing that your tension is a form of protection. It is not. It is a prison. This introduces a devastating flaw into your newfound frequency. The fear of loss is a low, contracted, scarce vibration. The moment you begin to worry about your abundance disappearing, you have, in that instant, abandoned the frequency of trust and flow that created the abundance in the first place. You have reverted to the echo chamber of lack. And ironically, by vibrating at the frequency of potential loss, you begin to energetically align yourself with the very outcome you dread. Your fear of the future becomes a magnet that can pull that future toward you. This places you in a profound existential conflict, your ego's desperate demand for permanence versus your soul's serene acceptance of change. Your ego wants a guarantee. It wants to build a fortress of security so solid and so permanent that no storm can ever touch it. It wants life to be a static, predictable, controllable photograph. But your soul knows the truth. It knows that life is not a photograph. It is a river. You cannot step into the same river twice. Its very nature is to move, to shift, to change. To resist this flow is to resist the essence of life itself. To be attached to one particular droplet of water, one specific eddy or current, is to condemn yourself to a life of struggle and disappointment. The conflict is between the ego's frantic attempt to hold on and the soul's wise willingness to let go and trust the current. Here is the truth that will set you free from this struggle and grant you unshakable peace. Your security does not, and can never, lie in the form of your abundance. The money, the house, the job, the relationship, these are all impermanent forms, like patterns of water in the river of life. They will, and they must change. Your true, eternal, and unshakable security lies in the source of your abundance. That source is your own consciousness. It is your connection to the universal intelligence. It is your practiced ability to tune your own frequency. You are the creator, not the creation. You are the sailor, not the boat. You are the river, not just the water passing through. When you know, deep in your bones, that you are the source, you can enjoy the myriad forms that your abundance takes without the terror of them changing. You can drink from the river without trying to own it. This is the essence of non-attachment. It is not about caring less. It is about loving your own inner peace so much that you refuse to allow it to be held hostage by the inevitable fluctuations of the outside world. To embody this grace, we will engage in two simple practices. The first is the open palm meditation. Find your quiet space. Sit comfortably and deliberately place your hands on your lap with the palms facing upward. This is the physical posture of receptivity and release. It signals to your body and mind that you are not grasping. Now, bring to your mind something in your life that you are deeply grateful for, but may also harbor a subtle fear of losing. It could be your financial stability, a cherished relationship, your health, or your creative flow. Gently, in your imagination, visualize placing this precious thing into your open palms. See it there, shimmering with light. It is a gift. Feel its presence. Now, consciously relax your hands. Do not clench. Do not grasp. Simply hold it, lightly. Then, repeat this affirmation, silently or aloud. I am so grateful for this beautiful experience in my life. I enjoy it and appreciate it fully, right now. I hold it with love, not with fear. My true security lies within me, in my connection to the source of all things. I trust in my ability to thrive and create, with or without this specific form. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel the tension of holding on dissolve from your body. Practice this whenever you feel the cold grip of anxiety or the fear of loss begin to tighten. The second practice is to become a student of nature's wisdom. Actively observe the cycles of impermanence all around you. Watch the sun set in a blaze of glory and feel the deep, trusting calm of knowing it will rise again. Watch the leaves of a deciduous tree fall in autumn and know that this loss is a necessary prelude to the rebirth of spring. Go to the ocean and watch the tide go out, revealing the seafloor, and trust, without question, that it will return. Nature does not panic during its ebbs. It understands that the ebb is an integral part of the flow. By attuning yourself to this rhythm, you are training your subconscious mind to accept the cycles in your own life with grace and trust, knowing that every sunset is followed by a sunrise, and every outbreath is followed by a nourishing in-breath. You are learning to dance with change instead of fighting it. You are learning to hold all of life's precious gifts in an open, loving, and fearless hand. We have practiced the graceful art of non-attachment, of holding the precious and transient forms of our lives in a gentle, open palm. We have learned not to cling. This practice, if taken to its heart, inevitably leads to one of the most profound and liberating questions a human being can ask. If I am not my possessions, if I am not my accomplishments, if I am not my job title, my successes, or my failures, if I am not even this body in its ever-changing state, then who or what am I? To discover the ultimate, unshakable bedrock of your being, the true source of all security and peace, we must lift our gaze from the fluctuating, unpredictable weather of our daily lives. We must learn to recognize the vast, silent, and eternal reality that holds it all. We must come to know ourselves not as the passing clouds, but as the deep, unchanging inner sky. Think of your life, in all its complexity, as the weather. Your thoughts are the clouds, drifting across your awareness. Sometimes they are white and fluffy, pleasant daydreams and creative ideas. Sometimes they are dark and heavy storm clouds, full of worry and fear. Your emotions are the atmosphere. Sometimes it is the brilliant, warm sunshine of joy. Sometimes it is the cold, sharp wind of anger or the thick, dense fog of confusion. Your external circumstances, your financial status, your relationships, your health air, the precipitation. Sometimes it is a gentle, nourishing rain of abundance. Sometimes it is a hailstorm of challenges. For your entire life, you have been taught to identify with the weather. When the sun of success was shining, you said, "I am successful." When the clouds of failure gathered, you said, "I am a failure." You have mistaken the passing atmospheric conditions for your fundamental identity. This case of mistaken identity is the root cause of almost all human suffering. The ego, your sense of a separate self, cannot exist without a form to cling to. It constructs its identity out of labels, stories, and conditions. I am a wealthy person. I am a struggling artist. I am a healthy athlete. I am a patient with a chronic illness. When the form it is identified with expands, you get the promotion, you make more money, you receive praise, the ego feels a temporary pleasure, a sense of validation. But when that form inevitably diminishes or is threatened, you lose the job, the money recedes, you receive criticism. The ego feels as if it is being threatened with annihilation. Your emotional life becomes a volatile roller coaster, completely at the mercy of the ever-changing weather patterns of your life. You have chained your peace to the tail of a kite in a hurricane. This leads to the ultimate inner conflict, the ego's desperate need for a label versus the soul's boundless freedom and formlessness. The ego is terrified of the concept of being the sky. If I am not my story, it cries, if I am not my achievements, my memories, my struggles, then I am nothing. To the ego, this formless awareness feels like a cold, empty void. It feels like death. And in a way, it is right. It is the death of the limited, constricted, and painfully vulnerable identity you have mistaken for yourself. It is the death of the character in the play. But what the ego perceives as a terrifying death, the soul recognizes as a glorious homecoming. It knows that this death is actually your birth into true, infinite, and unconditional freedom. For when you know yourself as the sky, you are no longer tossed about by the weather. You can still feel the warmth of the sun and the chill of the rain. You can still experience the full spectrum of life's phenomena. But you know, on the deepest level, that it is not you. It is just a show passing through you. And you, the vast, silent, aware space, remain untouched, unharmed, and eternally at peace. Here is the truth that is the ultimate anchor for your being. You are not the contents of your life. You are the context in which your life unfolds. You are not the painting. You are the canvas. You are not the words on the page. You are the silent paper that allows them to be. Your true nature, the essence of who you are, is the silent, awake consciousness that was present to witness your very first thought and will be present to witness your very last. This is your inner sky. When you shift your primary identification from the fleeting clouds of your personality to the eternal expanse of this sky-like awareness, you become truly, unshakably free. Abundance and lack become two different types of clouds. Success and failure become different forms of weather. Praise and blame become nothing more than the sound of the wind. They can all pass through your sky, but they cannot stain, scar, or define it. This is the only real security there is. It cannot be lost in a market crash. It cannot be diminished by illness. It cannot be taken by anyone. It simply, eternally, is. How do we move from understanding this as a beautiful concept to experiencing it as a living reality? We practice the art of disidentification. We practice remembering that we are the sky. Find your quiet space. Close your eyes. Your first task is simply to become an impartial observer of your own inner weather. Without judgment, simply notice what is happening. Notice the parade of thoughts passing across the screen of your mind, a memory, a to-do list, a worry. Notice the emotional climates, there a feeling of peace, of agitation, of boredom. Notice the physical sensations in your body, the feeling of your breath, a tingling in your hands, the pressure of the chair beneath you. Next, as you observe these phenomena, gently label them in your mind. This creates a subtle but powerful separation. Instead of being lost in a thought, you say to yourself, thinking is happening. Instead of being consumed by an emotion, you say, the feeling of anxiety is present right now. You are no longer the thought. You are the one who is aware of the thought. Now, take the next crucial step. Ask the question, who is aware of all this? Who is aware of the thinking? Who is aware of the anxiety? Who is aware of the physical sensations? There is a silent, witnessing presence behind it all. A presence that does not think, does not feel, does not move. It is simply aware. It is pure consciousness. That is you. Finally, you will gently affirm this new, true identity. Say to yourself, silently, but with deep conviction, I am not the clouds. I am not the weather. I am the vast, open, and peaceful sky that holds all of this. I am the awareness in which all of my life unfolds. Rest in that feeling. Feel the spaciousness, the silence, the profound peace of your true nature. It has been here all along, waiting patiently behind the storm of your life. Practice this whenever you feel overwhelmed, anxious, or lost in a particular story. This is how you come home. This is how you remember the truth of who you are, the safe, silent, and eternal inner sky. You have now found your true anchor. You have come to know yourself not as the fleeting weather of your life, but as the vast, silent, and eternal sky that holds it all. From this profound state of being, from this seat of quiet awareness, we can now look upon the mechanisms of creation with a new and penetrating clarity. Many on this path have encountered the popular concept known as the law of attraction. It is a valid law, a powerful pointer to a deeper truth, but it is often misunderstood and applied superficially, leading to immense frustration, confusion, and even self-blame. To truly grasp how your reality takes shape, we must go beneath the surface effect of attraction. We must go to the source code of creation itself. We must understand the fundamental, unwavering, and impersonal law of vibration. Imagine that your state of being, the sum total of your dominant thoughts, beliefs, and most importantly, your emotions, a powerful radio transmitter. Every moment of every day, you are broadcasting a specific frequency out into the universe. The universe, in turn, is like a colossal radio receiver. It does not judge your broadcast. It does not have preferences. It simply, with perfect and impersonal precision, tunes itself to the frequency you are emitting and plays the corresponding song back to you in the form of your life experiences. The law of attraction is merely the name we give to the experience of hearing the music that matches our broadcast signal. The common mistake is to believe you can stand before the radio, broadcasting a frequency of static and fear, while demanding that it play a symphony of joy and abundance. You cannot attract what you want. You can only receive a reflection of what you are. This misunderstanding is the source of great disappointment. The law of attraction has often been distilled into a simple but misleading formula. Think positive thoughts, and you will get the things you want. This leads sincere people into a brutal inner war. They try to force positive thoughts, to plaster affirmations like "I am wealthy" over a deep, powerful subconscious vibration that is screaming, "I am terrified of not having enough." They are trying to shout a new lyric over a loud, bass-heavy rhythm of fear. The universe doesn't hear the whispered lyric. It feels the thunderous rhythm. The vibration always overpowers the thought. When the desired results don't appear, they conclude that the law is a lie, or worse, that they are a failure at using it. They say, "I visualize the money every day. I said my affirmations. Why isn't it working?" It isn't working because visualization and affirmation are not magic spells. They are tools. Their only purpose is to help you generate the feeling, the vibration of your desired reality. If you visualize wealth but feel the desperate ache of its absence, you are vibrating at the frequency of absence, and the universe will dutifully mirror more absence back to you. This leads to a toxic cycle of self-blame. A person experiences a setback and thinks, "Oh no, this must be my fault. I must have had a negative thought." They become afraid of their own mind, policing every fleeting thought, which only creates more anxiety and a lower vibration. Let this be clear. You are not punished for every single negative thought. Your reality is not that fragile. It is your dominant, habitual, emotional state, your vibrational home base, that sends the signal. It is the steady hum beneath the surface, not the momentary spike of a single thought, that sets the tone for your life. The conflict is between the ego's frantic attempt to mentally force a result and the soul's quiet wisdom to emotionally embody a state. The ego wants to control the reflection in the mirror by shouting at it. The soul knows you must change the object standing before the mirror. Here is the truth that will liberate you from this cycle of striving and disappointment. Your primary creative work is not to attract things. Your work is to consciously manage and cultivate your own vibration. The universe is not a cosmic waiter taking your mental orders. It is a perfect, non-judgmental mirror reflecting your vibrational essence. Therefore, you must shift your fundamental question from "What do I want to get?" to "Who do I choose to be?" From "What do I want to attract?" to "What reality do I choose to vibrate in harmony with right now?" When you successfully and consistently become a vibrational match to the reality you desire, the things, people, and experiences that belong to that reality do not need to be painfully attracted. They simply arrive. They manifest in your experience as a natural, effortless consequence of the law. Resonance is automatic. Like-frequencied energies simply, naturally find each other in the vast ocean of the cosmos. So, how do we practice this? We move away from hollow affirmations and towards somatic embodiment. We will call this the vibrational check-in. It is a practice of translating a desire from a mental concept into a physical, emotional reality. First, identify your desire. Be honest. For example, "I want to experience more financial flow and security." Second, you must translate this mental want into a vibrational is. Ask yourself the most important question. What is the feeling of financial security? What is its unique frequency? Sit with this question. The answer will be a feeling, not a thing. It might be peace, ease, calm, freedom, relaxation, generosity, a sense of being completely supported. Third, and this is the entire practice, your work is to generate that feeling state in your body now for just 60 seconds, without any need for the external world to change first. This is your power. Stop affirming, "I am wealthy." If your mind screams back, "No, you're not." Instead ask, "How can I access the feeling of peace right now?" Perhaps you can do it by listening to a specific piece of calming music, perhaps by recalling a memory of a time you felt completely safe and at ease, perhaps by doing the open palm meditation and feeling the release of clinging, perhaps by simply taking 3 slow, deep breaths and feeling the tension leave your body. The method does not matter. The resulting feeling is everything. Your goal in these 60 seconds is not to magically make money appear. Your goal is to become familiar with the vibrational signature of your desire. You are giving your body a taste of your future reality. You are teaching your cells what peaceful freedom feels like. By practicing this daily, you are changing your broadcast. You are moving your energetic home base from the frequency of anxious, striving to the frequency of calm knowing. You are ceasing to be the person who is desperately trying to attract wealth, and you are becoming, moment by moment, the person who is a natural, resonant match for it. You are not chasing the reflection. You are becoming the reality. And the mirror of the universe has no choice but to show you who you have, at last, decided to be. We have now arrived at a foundational truth. Your primary creative act is the conscious management of your own vibration. Your state of being is the signal that dictates the reality you experience. This naturally leads to a vital, practical question. What way of life, what daily posture toward the world most naturally cultivates and sustains a high, abundant frequency? The answer lies in a fundamental choice you make in every moment of your life, a choice that defines your identity and your power. It is the choice between 2 entirely different modes of being. It is the choice between your consumer self and your creator self. Imagine the consumer self as a black hole. Its nature is gravitational. Its primary function is to pull things in, to take, to acquire, to consume. It operates from a core assumption of emptiness, a sense of inner lack that must be filled by something from the outside. It consumes food. It consumes entertainment. It consumes information. It consumes products. It consumes the energy and attention of others. While its pull is immense, it generates no light of its own. It is a vortex of need. Now, imagine the creator self as a sun. Its nature is radiative. Its primary function is to generate energy from its own core and send it outward. It creates warmth. It creates light. It fosters growth. It operates from a core assumption of fullness, of an inexhaustible inner source. It does not need to pull energy in because it is energy. This is the choice before you in every moment. Will you be a point of consumption, or will you be a point of radiation? Our modern world is a marvel of engineering, and it is engineered, above all, to keep you in the state of a consumer. Our entire economy is built upon the art of convincing you that you are incomplete. It thrives by creating a sense of lack and then selling you the temporary solution. You are not happy enough, so you must consume this experience. You are not attractive enough, so you must consume this product. You are not knowledgeable enough, so you must consume this course. Beyond products, we are conditioned to be passive consumers of information and distraction. We scroll through endless feeds. We binge-watch entire series. We are fed a constant IV drip of news, opinions, and curated images of other people's lives. This fire hose of input keeps our minds perpetually occupied, creating a mental clutter that prevents us from ever entering the quiet, spacious inner sanctum where true creation is born. It is the world's most sophisticated pacifier for the human soul. This state of consumption has a distinct low-frequency vibration. It is the frequency of hunger, of neediness. There is a brief, fleeting satisfaction in the moment of consumption, the click of the purchase, the thrill of the first few minutes of a show, but it quickly fades, often leaving behind an even greater sense of emptiness than before. This emptiness then fuels the desire for the next act of consumption. It is an addictive, self-perpetuating cycle of lack. It is, by its very nature, the frequency of not enough. And this creates a powerful inner conflict between the easy, seductive comfort of consumption and the vulnerable, focused effort of creation. It is undeniably easier to passively scroll through the curated creations of others on social media than it is to sit with a blank page and write a single, authentic paragraph of your own. It is easier to binge-watch a masterclass on a skill than it is to pick up the tools and engage in the clumsy, imperfect practice of that skill yourself. It is easier to critique a movie, a book, or a piece of art itself, a subtle form of consumption, than it is to risk creating your own and exposing it to the world. Creation requires effort. It requires a decision. It requires you to show up and face the void of the blank canvas. It makes you vulnerable to failure, to judgment, to the possibility that your creation may not be perfect. Consumption is a warm, safe, dark blanket to hide under. The conflict is between the ego's desire to hide in the safety of the passive consumer and the soul's deep, undeniable, and innate urge to express itself, to contribute, to build, to sing its own unique song into the world. Here is the truth that will awaken the giant within you. Your natural state is not to be a consumer. You were born from a creative universe, and that same inexhaustible creative impulse is the very essence of your being. To shift your primary identity from that of a consumer to that of a creator is the single most powerful vibrational upgrade you can make. It is a radical realignment of your entire posture towards reality. You cease to ask the question, "What can I get from the world to fill my inner void?" And you begin to ask the far more powerful question, "What unique value, what special gift, what beautiful energy wishes to flow through me and into the world today?" The moment you sincerely ask this second question, you have moved from a state of lack to a state of overflow. You have declared yourself a source, not a drain. And the universe does not reward neediness. It rushes to support and amplify value. By focusing on creating value, you align yourself with the fundamental generative principle of reality itself. How do we put this grand principle into daily practice? We do it by making a small, conscious choice to prioritize creation over consumption. This is your practice. Each day, you will commit to the first 30 rule. This means you will dedicate the first 30 minutes of your discretionary time, the time that is truly yours, a deliberate act of creation, before you allow yourself to engage in passive consumption. For some, this will be in the morning, before the phone is checked and the world's noise rushes in. For others, it may be in the evening, before the television is turned on. We must define creation in its broadest, most generous sense. You do not need to produce a masterpiece. The goal is to shift your energy from input to output. An act of creation could be writing in your journal, even if it's just a stream of consciousness, sketching an idea in a notebook, practicing a musical instrument, tending to your houseplants with mindful attention, cooking a meal from scratch, focusing on the alchemy of the ingredients, organizing a cluttered drawer, bringing order and beauty to a small corner of your world, writing a thoughtful, appreciative email to a friend or colleague, brainstorming solutions to a problem in your life or work. Any act, however small, that is generative, that produces something new, that adds value, that brings more order, beauty, or love into the world is an act of creation. By making this small daily commitment, you are doing something profound. You are training your mind and body to identify with the Creator self. You are starting your day from a place of power, of agency, of being at cause rather than at effect. You are telling yourself, and you are telling the universe, My first impulse is not to take, but to give. I am a sun, not a black hole. I am a source, not a drain. This simple shift in your daily routine will begin to shift your entire vibrational home base, transforming you from a passive recipient of reality into an active, joyful, and powerful co-creator of your life. By consciously choosing to embody your creator self, you have fundamentally altered your position in the cosmos. You are no longer a passive bystander waiting for life to happen to you. You have stepped into your true role as an active participant in a great creative dialogue with the universe. From the quiet throne of your inner being, you are now broadcasting a clear, coherent, and high-frequency signal. And the universe, which is the most faithful mirror and perfect partner in this dance, begins to communicate back. It does not speak in words, for words are too clumsy for the truths it wishes to convey. It speaks in the elegant and precise language of circumstance, of coincidence, of perfect timing. It speaks in the language of synchronicity. Your great task now is not to force anything, but simply to learn to listen, to learn to read the replies. You must become fluent in the language of the universe's feedback loop. Think of it this way. When you shout into a vast canyon, the echo that returns is a perfect reflection of the sound you produced. It is direct, immediate feedback. If you whisper, the echo is a whisper. If you sing a clear, strong note, the echo is a clear, strong note. The synchronicities and meaningful coincidences that begin to appear in your life are the universe's echo. They are the direct feedback on the new vibrational signal you are broadcasting. They are the universe's way of saying, "Message received." What do these echoes look like? You may be pondering a difficult problem, and you walk past a bookstore where a book title in the window seems to leap out at you, containing the very answer you were seeking. You might think of an old friend you haven't spoken to in years, and moments later, your phone rings, and it is them. You may set a clear intention to learn a new skill, and the next day, you meet someone at a party who just happens to be a master of that very skill. The universe begins to leave you a trail of these cosmic breadcrumbs. They are not necessarily the final destination, but they are the undeniable signs that you are on the right path, that you are moving in the right direction, that the flow is with you. Why then are we so quick to dismiss these magical moments? Our rational mind, conditioned for a mechanical and random world, has a powerful defense system against this kind of meaning. When a synchronicity occurs, there is often an initial jolt, a gasp of wonder, an intuitive aha moment where our soul recognizes the connection. But almost immediately, the logical mind steps in to shut it down. It supplies a host of socially acceptable explanations. It's just a coincidence. You're just noticing it more because you're thinking about it. That's confirmation bias. It's a fluke. The rational mind does this because the existence of a responsive, intelligent, and meaningful universe is a profound threat to its worldview. A worldview where it believes it is in control. To accept synchronicity is to accept that there are forces at play far greater and more intelligent than one's own logical mind. Furthermore, we are afraid of seeming foolish. We fear being labeled as someone who is woo-woo or delusional, someone who sees signs in everything. So we suppress that initial truthful jolt of recognition and align ourselves with the more cynical, but safer, explanation of randomness. And there is another, deeper reason for our dismissal. Recognizing a sign often implies a call to action. Seeing 3 different references to a city you've always wanted to visit is a clear nudge to book the trip. Meeting the person who can help you with your project is a clear nudge to follow up and ask for help. It is often easier to dismiss the sign as nothing than it is to summon the courage to take the inspired action it is pointing toward. This creates a constant inner conflict between the instant, certain knowing of your intuition and the subsequent, doubtful chatter of your intellect. Your heart feels the resonance and says, "Wow, this is a sign." Your head, a moment later, retorts, "Don't be ridiculous. It's nothing." For most of our lives, We have been trained to trust the doubtful head over the certain heart. We have been taught to value skepticism over wonder. To continue on this path of conscious creation, you must reverse this training. You must give more weight to the feeling of resonance than to the voice of doubt. Here is the truth that will give you the courage to do so. In a universe governed by the law of vibration, there are no true accidents. There are no random events. There are only correspondences, resonances, and reflections. The synchronicities appearing in your life are not a test from the universe. They are the curriculum. They are not a trick. They are the guideposts. They are the universe winking at you, confirming with love, and sometimes with humor. Yes, I hear you. The new frequency is being received loud and clear. Keep going. You are on the right path. To trust in these moments, to accept them as valid communication, is to graduate from seeing life as a series of things that happen to you, to experiencing life as a conversation that is constantly happening with you. To strengthen your ability to perceive and trust this feedback loop, you will begin a simple but profoundly effective practice. You will become a collector of evidence. You will start a synchronicity journal. Keep a small, dedicated notebook or a note on your phone for this purpose alone. Its only job is to be a logbook for the universe's replies. Whenever a meaningful coincidence occurs, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, you will write it down. Note the date and briefly describe what happened. Did you overhear a stranger's conversation that contained the perfect answer to a question you were just pondering? Write it down. Did you keep seeing a specific sequence of numbers that holds a personal meaning for you? Write it down. Did a song come on the radio with lyrics that spoke directly to your situation? Write it down. Did you have a dream that gave you a clear insight into a problem? Write it down. You do not need to analyze these events to death. You do not need to build grand theories around them. The simple, sacred act of noticing, acknowledging, and recording them is the practice. This act sends a powerful message to both your own subconscious mind and to the universe itself. It is a declaration that says, I am paying attention, I am listening, I am taking this conversation seriously. Send more. Over time, this journal will become one of your most precious possessions. As you look back over the entries, you will begin to see what was once invisible. You will see that these are not isolated, random incidents. You will see, with undeniable clarity, a pattern of communication. You will see a responsive intelligence guiding you, nudging you, and confirming you at every step. This tangible proof will build a rock-solid foundation of faith, a faith that is not blind, but based on your own accumulated evidence. It will give you the unwavering courage to trust the breadcrumbs and to walk the beautiful, magical path that the universe is so clearly laying out before you. You have learned to listen. You have learned to perceive the subtle language of the universe, to see the trail of breadcrumbs, to hear the echo of your own broadcast in the synchronicities of your daily life. The conversation between you and the cosmos is no longer a rare or surprising event. It is becoming your natural way of navigating reality. This growing fluency brings us to the final stage of our journey together, a stage which is, in truth, the beginning of your real life. It is the stage of integration, of embodiment. It is the sacred point at which you cease to be a student practicing these principles, and you become a living master of them. The practices are no longer separate actions you perform. They have dissolved into the very fabric of your being. This is the art of moving from doing to being. This is the art of living in the state of wealth. Think of it like learning a new language. In the beginning, the process is conscious and often clumsy. You have to mentally translate each word, consciously recall the rules of grammar, and painstakingly construct your sentences. This is the stage of practice, where you diligently sat in stillness, wrote in your gratitude journal, and polished your mirror of clarity. But if you persist, a magical shift occurs. You stop translating. You begin to think in the new language. You even begin to dream in it. It is no longer a foreign system you are applying. It is a natural and effortless part of who you are. This is the stage of embodiment. You have practiced the language of abundance for so long that it has become your native tongue. You no longer need to try to feel grateful or to work at trusting the flow. You simply are grateful. You simply do trust. It is your new default setting. What does this state of wealth actually feel like? It is crucial to demystify this. It is not a state of perpetual, manic euphoria or non-stop bliss. To expect that is to set yourself up for disappointment. The true state of wealth is characterized by a profound and unshakable undercurrent of peace. It is a quiet, steady confidence that all is well and all will be well, even when the surface of life is turbulent. It is a deep-seated trust in yourself as the creator and in the universe as your benevolent partner. The frantic, anxious energy of the hustler is gone, replaced by the calm, focused energy of the master. The desperate neediness is gone, replaced by a serene sense of inner sufficiency. As you begin to stabilize in this new state, be prepared for life to offer you a few final exams. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, will often present a challenge that looks remarkably like one of your old triggers. A sudden, unexpected expense may appear. A relationship may hit a rough patch. A health concern may arise. These events are not a punishment. They are not a sign that the process has failed. They are a test of your integration. The universe is lovingly asking, so, have you truly learned the lesson? When faced with the appearance of lack, will you revert to the old frequency of fear and panic? Or will you hold fast to your new home base of peace and trust, knowing this is just a passing cloud in your vast inner sky? These tests are your opportunity to prove your mastery to the most important person of all, yourself. They are the moments where you get to see, with undeniable clarity, just how far you have come. The inner conflict at this stage is more subtle than before. It is not a raging war, but the quiet ghost of your former self. When a challenge appears, the old, well-worn neural pathway of anxiety will try to fire. The muscle memory of worry will try to contract your body. You will feel its familiar pull. But now, there is a new, wider, more powerful pathway available to you, the pathway of trust you have so diligently built. The choice is instantaneous. Do you take the old, familiar, dead-end road of fear, or do you consciously choose to walk the new, spacious highway of peace? The conflict is between the memory of who you were and the reality of who you now are. Each time you choose the new path, its power grows, and the old path begins to wither away from lack of use. Here is the master key that locks you into this new reality forever. The state of wealth is not a future destination you are striving to reach. It is not something that will be granted to you after your bank account reaches a certain number or after you get the perfect relationship. It is a state of being that is available to you, in its fullness, right now. It is the conscious decision, in this present moment, to operate from a place of inner sufficiency, trust, and creative power, regardless of what the chaotic screenplay of the outer world appears to be showing you. You are no longer waiting for your reality to change in order to feel good. You are now, as a master, using your good-feeling state to command your reality to change. You are living from the end result. To make this your living, breathing experience, you will adopt one final practice. It is the practice that contains all the others. It is the practice of embodiment. At the beginning of each day, and before you enter any significant situation, you will pause and ask your higher self this powerful question. How would the version of me who is already a master of this journey handle this? How would the me who is already living in a state of complete, peaceful, abundant flow approach this day, this meeting, this challenge? Then, you will consciously choose to embody the answer in 3 distinct ways. First, in your thinking. Would the abundant master obsess over the problem and worry about all the things that could go wrong? Or would they hold a calm, confident belief that the perfect solution is on its way? Choose to adopt the thoughts of your highest self. Second, in your feeling. Would the abundant master feel contracted, anxious, and fearful? Or would they feel spacious, calm, and grounded in their own power? Take a breath and consciously generate the feeling state of your highest self. Third, in your acting, would the abundant master act from a place of desperation, forcing a solution? Or would they act from a place of inspired knowing, trust, and joyful service? Choose to take the action that your highest, most fully realized self would take. This is not faking it until you make it. This is faithing it until you become it. You are consciously closing the gap between the person you have been and the person you are becoming by choosing, in the power of the present moment, to simply be that person now. You are no longer the student practicing the scales. You are the maestro, allowing the grand symphony of your most abundant life to finally play through you, note by perfect note. You have arrived, not at a final destination, for the journey of growth is infinite, but you have arrived at a new way of being. You have learned to reside in the state of wealth, to speak the language of abundance as your native tongue. You have become the master architect of your inner world. From this plateau of deep, integrated peace and sovereign power, your personal journey now takes its most beautiful and selfless turn. It turns outward. For once you have learned how to generate your own light, you cannot help but illuminate the path for others. Your personal transformation now finds its ultimate meaning in a new, sacred, and effortless role. You are no longer just the ship that has found its way to the safe harbor. You have become the lighthouse. Consider the nature of a lighthouse. It stands on a firm, unshakable foundation of rock, rooted and resolute. It does not run about the chaotic ocean, chasing after individual ships that are lost in the storm. It does not scream instructions against the wind. It does not exhaust itself by trying to rescue every boat from the tumultuous waves. Its task is far more simple and infinitely more powerful. Its sole duty is to tend to its own inner light. It keeps its lamp clean, its fuel full, and its flame burning brightly, and then it simply shines. Steadily, reliably, and without agenda, it sends its beam of light out into the darkness. The ships at sea, each on their own journey, navigating their own unique storms, can then see this light. It is a beacon of possibility. It is proof that a safe shore exists, and using this light as a reference point, they can begin to navigate their own way home. This is your new role. This is your highest service. As you stabilize in this high frequency of peace and abundance, you will notice the suffering of the world, perhaps more keenly than before. Your first, well-intentioned impulse may be to become a rescuer. A new, more subtle version of the ego can arise, the spiritual ego. It is the part of you that, having had a breakthrough, now wants to fix everyone. It wants to preach the truth, to tell others what they are doing wrong, to shake them awake. You see friends and loved ones caught in the same traps of lack and fear that you have just escaped, and you want to jump into their boat and start rowing for them. You want to give them the map, explain the principles, and drag them to the shore. But this is the path of depletion. This is the lighthouse abandoning its rock to chase a single ship, leaving all the others in darkness and risking its own foundation. You will also notice that the low-frequency energy of others, their complaints, their cynicism, their victimhood, can feel more grating than ever before. It is like listening to static after becoming accustomed to a beautiful symphony. The temptation is to either withdraw and isolate yourself to protect your newfound peace, or to try and force them to change their tune. Both are strategies of resistance. Your new practice is not to resist, not to preach, and not to rescue. It is simply to shine. This creates the final inner conflict of this journey, the desire to actively help versus the profound wisdom to simply be. The ego wants to be the hero of the story, the savior who rides in and fixes the problem. It derives a sense of importance from the act of intervening. The soul, embodied by the lighthouse keeper, understands a deeper truth. It knows that every person is on their own sacred journey. Their struggles, Their storms are their curriculum. Their timing is their own. To forcefully intervene is often to rob them of a lesson they need to learn for themselves. The soul knows that the most respectful and profoundly helpful thing you can offer is not a lecture, but a living example. Your quiet peace is more convincing than your loudest argument. Your unwavering trust is a more powerful teacher than any book you could recommend. Your calm, non-reactive presence in the face of their storm is the greatest gift you can possibly give. It is the silent testament that another way of being is possible. Here is the truth that will guide your service to the world. Your greatest contribution is the stability of your own inner state. Your primary purpose is not to fix the world, but to be a place within the world, where the world is already fixed. Do not exhaust yourself trying to change others. Instead, turn that loving attention inward. Make your primary work the tending of your own light. Keep your own frequency high, clear, and steady. Your joy is a revolutionary act. Your peace is a balm for a wounded world. Your unwavering trust in abundance, in the face of widespread panic and lack, is the medicine that is so desperately needed. You do not need to announce your new reality. You simply need to live it. And those who are ready for the light, those whose souls are searching for a new shore, will see your beacon. They will be drawn to your warmth. And by your example, not by your words, they will begin to ask the questions that will lead them to discover their own inner lighthouse. So, what is the practice of the lighthouse keeper? It is the practice of radiant presence. When you find yourself in the presence of someone who is deep in their own storm, who is complaining, who is fearful, who is angry, your task is no longer to get drawn into the drama, nor is it to stand outside and preach. Your task is to become the lighthouse. First, you will anchor yourself. Instead of leaning into their chaotic energy, you will bring your awareness into your own body. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground, your own unshakable rock. Connect with the slow, steady rhythm of your own breath. You are the calm center. You can silently affirm, "I am the lighthouse. I am safe on my rock." Second, you will tend your light. Bring your focus inward to that steady flame of peace you have so carefully cultivated. Your only job in this interaction is to keep your own light burning brightly. Do not let their wind diminish your flame. Do not let their darkness cause you to flicker. You will hold your own high frequency with gentle, loving resolve. Third, you will radiate, not intervene. Without saying a word, you will simply hold your state of peace and allow it to radiate outward from you like a warmth, a presence. You are not pushing your energy onto them. You are simply being your peace in their presence. More often than not, you will find that your calm presence does more to soothe their storm than any advice you could ever offer. You are giving them a direct, somatic experience of a different possibility. You are offering them a frequency, an invitation to a different state. If they then ask for your perspective, share it simply, lovingly, and without any attachment to whether they accept it or not. Your work was already done in the silence. This is the culmination of your journey. You have traveled inward, deep into the core of your being, and found the inexhaustible source of light. Now, your purpose is simply to stand where you are, in the full, quiet dignity of your own realization, and shine. Be the proof, be the hope, be the calm in the storm, be the lighthouse. We began this journey together amidst the noise, tuned to a frequency of fear and lack that we believed was the only station on the air. We were passive listeners to a broadcast of old stories, anxieties, and limitations. Through the silence and the stillness, through the courageous work of clearing and releasing, we have not simply found a new station. We have found the tuning dial itself. We have walked away from the crackling static of the ego and have learned to dial into the clear, strong, unwavering signal of the soul. The great revelation is not that other frequencies exist, but that you are, and always have been, the one in control of the receiver. The entire journey has been about this one profound shift in identity, from listener to tuner, from effect to cause. And in making this shift, you arrive at the most beautiful truth of all. The wealth you have been seeking is not a buried treasure on some distant island. The love you have been yearning for is not a prize to be won. The peace you have been chasing is not a destination to be reached. These things are not out there at all. They are the very substance of the universe in which you are immersed. The abundance you seek is the ocean of energy you are already swimming in. The vitality you desire is the air you are breathing in this very moment. The wholeness you crave is the life that is pulsing through your veins right now. You were never separate from it. You were simply tuned to a frequency that made you deaf to the symphony of your own being. Therefore, this journey does not end with a promise of a distant future. It ends with a powerful recognition of your present reality. You have come home to yourself. You have remembered the truth. The frequency is not something you acquire. It is something you are. The wealth was never out there. It has always been the very energy that is listening to these words right now. Tune in. The broadcast of your most magnificent life has already begun.